Podcast, episode number 107.
Fuck off.
Why fuck off?
107. 107.
107 is fine. You know, we're actually coming up on 1010 soon.
You 40-year-old prick.
Yeah.
The 40-year-old virgin. Look at this
The
guy.
40-year-old virgin. Yeah. Oh, man.
Hey, people can say,
Yeah.
they can say, this podcast right now has 3 people on it that are 40 and over, and I venture to say that not only is it the best podcast to listen to and watch, we're probably the best looking fucking podcast.
I think, well, we know Christian's good looking.
We do know that. But B,
look at him.
we do know, even with the tooth.
You can floss with a rope.
Oh, yeah, remember that licorice rope? That
Yeah,
fucking
I love it.
licorice rope?
That's what I was eating.
You should do it, man. I bet it would taste good. You know?
Oh, I do it where it goes out in the mouth and out the ass. I'm like,
Cannibal
He doesn't
Holocaust
whistle.
style. Cannibal Holocaust style.
yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, but B's a ladies' man. B is a
You know
fucking
what?
lady. Everyone's up on your shit.
I'm loving the attention from the ladies.
Well, if you could just hook up with one of them,
Watch
I'll love it too.
Again.
What's that?
Watson's hitting on you again.
Or Watson.
We should have a contest, B. We should have the people that are listening that want to go on a date with B. Let's have a contest, like a drawing. We'll put the females in that want to be in, they'll volunteer, and then we'll take the Patreon money for 1 month, and we'll send you and the winner of it on a date together.
Look at Christian. He's like, you ain't taking my money.
I think it's worth it.
You'll take 2/3 of the money.
Hey, it's for me. I need a woman in my life.
I totally agree.
Just to make him.
You're still not taking my money.
No, I'm all in. I'm all in.
I'm all in.
We'll send him to a salon first and foremost.
Yeah.
Hey, soon, 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I get my haircut.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like a dentist appointment now.
No, my girl actually reached out to me to tell me she missed me and missed talking
another
to me.
one.
She's older too, but she's told me if she wasn't married and
and
20 years older than me, she'd be like, I'd be all over you. I love her.
See this fucking guy. What are we doing here? Let's do it. Let's hook it up. B or C, we can meet him up at Niagara Falls. You know what I mean? He could take his lovely date to Niagara Falls. We can all get together early in the day. And then you and I.
Yeah.
Then we'll vamoose and we'll let him and the date hang out together.
We'll be sucking each other off in the parking lot. Let me see the 7.5 inches. You ain't lying. Knock another tooth out.
If you can find licorice rope, I'll do it.
No.
Dude, I haven't seen that big fat licorice rope in years. Have you guys?
Still on the licorice rope.
Dude, but you and Jamie now. Jamie's now posting old school snacks. Did you see she posted those cookies with like the bites taken out of them? I forgot what they were called.
Oh, those vampire bites? Those
Yeah. They were like cookies with like little bites. I said to her, man, I feel bad for the people who worked at the factory. They must have belly aches by Friday afternoon having to eat them. She was the only one who responded with like a smiling emoji.
She felt horrible for you.
She felt horrible. Even my jokes on post don't land.
This is gonna drive me nuts if I can't think of the name of those cookies.
Oh man, I just looked at and I remembered them too, but I can't remember the name either. I was just looking at the post. Were they Monster Bites?
Maybe Monster Bites.
I think they were Monster Bites. I think they were Monster Bites. They had like a little monster on it. I think that it looks like he took a bite out of each cookie.
Take a bite out of crime.
All right, guys, 9:30. Time to go. See you later.
We don't care. Yeah, this is going to be in parts. Tomorrow we're going to have different clothes on and everything because we're
Oh, that's true. We can't even trick them anymore.
Cannot trick them. Yeah. Tomorrow we'll have different clothes on. Well, at least I will. I mean, I don't know what you guys are going to do. I
only have 3 shirts, so it might be the orange one or one of the other.
We don't know. Yeah.
I only have 300 shirts. It's fucking.
I want to see them topless. I want to see them hairless and topless.
Hairless, topless, and toothless.
I'm hoping I actually get to see another dentist tomorrow morning. So hopefully, I'm not saying that's the end of this yet, but it might be the start of getting this motherfucker fixed.
If he can't fix it, just tell him to sew you shut for tomorrow night. So we don't have to listen to you.
I'll try.
We might have to take the Patreon money and forget about Brandon's date. Just get your tooth fixed instead.
Jesus, yeah.
What's more important, Brandon having a date?
I think Brandon having a date. I could still get laid with this face.
He's married.
Yeah, you can always put a bag over that.
Oh, I didn't say anything about my wife.
Oh man. Oh, good. I was freezing and now I'm hot. It's always a good sign when I'm getting hot when I'm recording, because that means
I always sweat when I record.
It's good though.
Really?
It's exciting.
Yeah, it gets very hot in the room with the door shut. Even though the air's on, it just gets hot.
Hey, we had Dave's mom on one episode. Dave's daughter's been on an episode. When's your dad coming on another show? And another show, meaning he was never on the show, but Dee and I got to experience him trying to fix your camera that time, which was fucking amazing.
You know what? We'll make it happen for a segment. I gotta, prepare him. He's got to be prepared. He'll have to take notes.
Oh, really? Can we ask him questions?
Yeah. We'll do something. Okay. Absolutely, he'll come on.
Okay, maybe
he doesn't really like Christian, but
I have a feeling he doesn't. And he won't like my line of questions either.
No, you know what? You know what's crazy? I think he probably will wind up liking you guys better than me, and he'll probably say it on the show. That's the type of humor he has. He'll start ripping on me the minute he comes on.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I think he was ripping on you when you were all questioning how your camera.
The camera's upside down?
Upside down.
Dude, it's just one of those. It just locked into place perfectly upside down, and it didn't dawn on me that it was upside down.
That's the opening scene of the script. You know that, right? You didn't know that is the opening scene. It's like a recreation of that moment in time.
Oh, that's right. We gotta convince the patrons we're making a movie. I forgot. We gotta still play up to get more money. We gotta play up this gag for a while.
Eventually.
I still like that idea. And moods as Brandon Orlick.
That was funny when you put his face on mine.
Yeah, that'd be great. You know how they used to have it like on the beginning of like Happy Days or The Love Boat, and just a face would come up at the end and it would say, imagine that. And moods. As Brandon Orlick. And like moves his face in like an anchor, like in the fucking like on the Love Boat.
Exactly that. Like it's still our logo, just like it was posted on our page with Mood's mug on it. It would be fantastic.
Someone's got to do it. The funny thing is, Moods doesn't know about this, but I should just let him know because I think he would totally do it. Just
show him the post that was made with the Moods' face on the logo.
Oh, I saw the post.
I know you did.
I don't give a fuck about you. We're talking about Moods. He doesn't know about it. That's what we're saying.
But we filmed in your room, and your dad is Moods' dad.
Oh God.
That would be great.
Yeah, Dad, get in here. Yeah.
We could do it.
Why do I have a Canadian son?
We could do it. We can get on Mood's channel.
Mood would think that is absolutely hilarious.
It's fucking hilarious.
Well, we know you do.
I know I do. I
Absolutely. Carly, I know she's listening. Tell Moods about this ongoing thing. She'll tell him because I don't know who else listens that talks to him. Well, Derek B. Yeah.
And Rex.
This is true. What do you say? Erect.
Yeah, I'm erect. Holy.
I thought you said Derek B. Erect. I thought you said. I'm like, well, maybe he is erect.
Derek, are you? Cliffhanger.
Oh wait, don't we have a cliffhanger from fucking last month?
No, that was we wanted someone to go back and list all the cliffhangers that we've had over the course of. I think we stopped well before like episode 30.
So next week's cliffhanger will be whether or not somebody actually went back and looked for our cliffhangers and who that person was.
I wish I had the time. I'd go back and just personally, if I have a cliffhanger that I put out there, and never did anything, I would answer 100 shows later. Well, it's been 100 shows. This is the answer.
This is a question from episode 1.
Thank you for sticking with us all this time. As a payback and being a patron, we're going to tell you the answer to the cliffhanger. Oh, shit.
I just realized something. It's something I'll talk about off air.
We prefer you didn't talk about it at all.
Fucking cock tease. I tell you. I don't know. I think it's something real serious. We better.
Yeah, it is, because he was about to spill it on air.
No, I just realized when my old hard drive crashed, that had all of the episodes on it up before 85. So, you know how we have a gap in our YouTube channel? In my tooth?
Woo.
What's this? Oh, it's me punching Lucky. I'm just kidding. Oh, in your face.
I thought that's what you were doing. I thought you were punching his face. Yeah, that's it.
No, I was going even a step lower. I was punching Lucky the cat. That's horrible. It's horrible, but my cat's safe and sound upstairs.
Of course. So wait a minute. I know what you're getting at because of
Sorry,
the
yeah. Yeah, I just everything just hit me all at once. I'm like, holy fuck. I don't have the back episodes. I had everything. I kept everything. All the recordings, everything. That's all gone. It was all on that master drive that I dropped and it shattered and I can't get it. So I've got for episode 8. Pardon?
But it's not gone. Horrorphia still exists. You haven't told me.
I mean, it's still there, but I had the master files, which is how I could get rid of her old, the one that was copyright infringement music, and I would take that out and I would put our new music in. Now I don't have the ability to do that because I don't have the clean track without the music in. So the only thing I could do is download it from Horrorphilia now and post it as is.
Or, hold on, let me go a step further. How long have we had shows on?
We remake the episodes?
Well, that too, when we run out of ideas, yeah. That, or when the patrons stop picking movies. That's what we'll
Episode
do.
1, reboot!
Wait a minute.
Hey,
oh, I got it.
We don't know each other.
Oh, could you imagine? Yeah. What are your favorite movies? We'll even have to get new listeners. They don't
we pretend it's 2015. What the fuck is Street from Hell?
Oh.
You love that?
You guys suck. They're just regurgitating old shit. That'd be awesome.
Wait a minute. We have all these shows on Patreon. We've been doing Patreon audio for a while.
Yeah, not that long, though. Not that long.
You don't think that long? No? Okay.
No. Just 2 years. Just 2 years, if that. But then a lot of that Patreon stuff were Dropbox links. That's how we used to do it. And then once the real show dropped, the Dropbox link went, and that was it. And then it just the new episode just went up. So I'm talking about old school, like episode 1 to episode 84, really. But the ones that are missing from YouTube, I think are there's like 15 episodes still. I could probably download them, like I said, from Horrorphilia, where just my beautiful, clean originals are gone.
Yeah, that is kind of sad. Yeah. Damn it. But at least we now know.
Yeah.
You dropped the hard drive? You were carrying it from one room to the other, and you weren't smart enough to put it on an external drive, and you dropped it and it smashed?
Oh, man.
But you get pissed off and fucking smash it.
I was pissed. I am pissed. It's bad. It's here.
The wife asked him to go out and get deodorant, and he flipped out. Smashed his hard drive. I should go get me some fucking deodorant.
It's here somewhere. But
yeah.
yeah.
I'm not demanding to see it or anything. Fucking whatever.
No,
I'm just curious.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. Oh, shit.
What are you reaching for? There's nothing there. It's just a big black wall behind you.
Right? Oh.
I'm touching my face. Please disappear into the background.
What's he doing to me now? If you guys are listening and not watching, you're just completely missing out on
I don't know.
Sorry.
Oh, God, he's gone.
Even if you're watching, you're missing out on it. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm looking for the hard drive. I can't find it. I found my old sock filter.
What's the story?
Did you wash it?
No, it's still there.
The hard drive. You just dropped it? Were you playing catch? Were you just walking from one? I just want the story. I don't need to see it.
I was coming downstairs and I had it in my hand on top of my laptop, and I cupped I just had the hard drive there.
Did you say I cupped the balls? I cupped the balls.
I cupped the balls, and then I went to get the light, and it just slid right off of my laptop, bounced off a stair, bounced off a second stair, and then landed in like a pile of old socks. And I kid you not, I'm not even making that up. It's like a pile of old socks in like an old laundry hamper at the bottom.
Those must have been TGIF 13 sock filters. They haven't recorded in a while, so it's just like lost episodes of him and Vince.
Do-it-yourself sock filter. I'm like, yes, it's salvaged. But no, the two massive bounces off the stairs did not do it any good. So it's like, I'm sure I could get it, the information retrieved, but when I was researching it, it sounded ridiculously expensive. We're talking like 800 plus thousands of dollars. I'm like, this hard drive costs like $100. Yeah, okay, there's some good stuff on there, but I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars to get to it.
No.
Oh, it's okay. There's an alternative. You got to do it the old-fashioned way. So be it. Now, the burning question, though, is
syphilis.
What about the back episodes of TGIF 13? Are they in good hands?
I'm missing some of them because they were on because we started that show 2 years before. I had those on another hard drive, and I'm missing just a chunk. But remember, I didn't record as many episodes as we're only at like episode, I don't even know, 40.
Either way, I don't want them to be lost.
Yeah, a nice 5 episodes a year pace. It's really,
We've done 0.
Nice and lax.
I've done 0 since last October.
And the listeners, thank you.
Knew that was coming.
You should demand it to come back only for Patreon. It should be. See, there's no time. If you guys really want to hear TGIF 13, it's going to be Patreon only. See, now you can have you can have 2 Patreons now. Imagine that. This big shot over here. He's gonna have
now, when did the hard drive knock your tooth out? On the first bounce or the second bounce?
It's a joke a minute over here tonight.
That's gotta be.
I love it. I would have it no other way. On the second bounce.
It's not as funny when you answer the jokes.
That's why I always.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
It is good to be back. I mean, the listeners don't know. We stockpiled the last 3 episodes up in a short time. We took a little bit of time off, but now we're going to be hitting it harder than a freaking, Vietnamese hooker. It's going to be freaking crazy for the next.
Vietnamese.
I don't know where that came from.
It wasn't even Vietnamese. It was a Vietnamese.
Hey, you're right.
You're a Vietnamese girl. It was like a Christian thing. Vietnamese.
But it wasn't.
Vietnamese.
I don't know why I said that. Vietnamese.
It's really funny though. It's gold. You can't make this stuff up. You can't write this stuff.
Oh, it's driving me crazy.
Okay?
I can't find it.
What is this guy doing?
Okay.
I'm not doing anything.
What, Dave?
Oh.
Is Dave stroking out on you? I can't even hear him.
Dave, you just totally. Yeah.
Oh, I thought Christian was. Oh, what was I gonna say? It could be a cliffhanger for the next show. Your hard drive. Tomorrow for the next review.
Anybody out there, patrons, you know how to take shit off of a hard drive? No pornography. It's all clean shit. Just if you know how to fix it, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, maybe Watson does.
Anybody else?
Watson said last show. He said last show when we recorded he was joining the Patreon. So he's gonna go back and listen to all this shit.
He told me he wants to join the Patreon, but he really doesn't like C right now. That's exactly what he told me.
I don't know. He does take me seriously. I don't know.
No. He loves you.
Well, I think I made up to him because it wasn't even a compliment to him because he had nothing to do with it, but his son wrote that great music.
Yeah.
Little what? It was great music.
Yeah, man.
Dump the old man and go make it on your own, kid.
Go make it.
Maybe Lil Watt can fix the freaking thing. The hard drive.
He's the only Watt I care about.
He's the brightest watt in the light bulb.
Wow.
That's a Brandon joke.
This is the caliber. We took a break for this.
To talk about Vietnamese.
Vietnamese.
And watts and bulbs. Yes. Okay. Well, we've reached our 20-minute quota. Now we can talk about the movies.
Yeah.
That. Okay. There you go. Tonight we're talking about, well, not tonight. Tonight we're just talking about hardware. And then the next, tomorrow night when we're back for the rest of this episode, it'll be Lovely Molly and Devil's Pass. But hardware.
Our random potpourri of films for this first episode back.
It is a random potpourri. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, God, no flesh shall be spared. How about turn your camera off and spare us your flesh? That's awesome. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That is really cool.
Hardware is from.
Wait, slide over a little. Slide over. Yeah. Oh, okay. The robot has just as many teeth as Christian.
I love these teeth jokes. What is this? Hardware. That's funny.
Hey, let me tell you something. My Skype, everything recently got updated on my computer, and my Skype still doesn't have the option to change my background.
Change my background because he's Vietnamese.
Backgrounds matter.
You can at least blur it.
I can blur it. That's it. I can't. But no, I thought it would be cool because I brought it up on one of the shows. If we had, because we have 3 movies, each of us would have a poster, but it never gave me the option. I wonder if it has to do with.
It has the option. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Well, I don't have a Mac. You think that is it or no?
Oh, no. Does JP have a Mac?
I don't think so.
That's true.
I
don't know. I'm lucky I'm on Skype and I can turn the camera on the right way up. So I'll let you guys do the backgrounds.
We'll talk about it later. Maybe tomorrow for the next reviews you'll have it straightened out. Maybe. We'll walk you through it. Yeah.
I doubt it.
So anyway,
Christian's favorite movie of 1990.
Hardware. This is going to be an interesting show.
I gave him shit for that too, even though I had never seen it until this week. First time watch for me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it.
All right, let's get into it. Hardware from 1990, directed by Richard Stanley. The head of a cyborg reactivates, rebuilds itself, and goes on a violent rampage in a space marine's girlfriend's apartment. Whew, that's a tongue twister.
Let me go right into that. What didn't you understand from this, Dave? Dave texted us, everybody out there.
I thought that was Devil's Pass.
This movie.
I thought that was Devil's Pass. You didn't understand.
No, hold on.
That was something else. But he's like, I thought you were saying, unless I was wrong, Dave, he was like, the movie's working. Now I just wish I knew what the hell was going on in it.
Very simple.
It doesn't.
Very simple.
How is it simple? They don't explain it. Nothing makes sense. It just happened.
They bring back he brings back the robot head for the girlfriend because she does like sculptures and artwork with it, and it turns out it's an abandoned part from a killer droid.
Wait a minute. I asked why the. Okay, hold on. When I was watching the movie, I couldn't understand why shit was coming to life and killing. And then I asked you. I said, "Do they explain why this is happening?" And you said, "No, there's no explanation."
Oh, well, no, they explain it. They explain it through a weird throwback that the guy the little guy that runs that
Alvy.
That shop, Alvy at the beginning. So that guy is researching it because he takes the head and there's some wires in there, but he leaves like one of the hands behind and whatnot. And so he's researching it and he finds out it's the Mark 13 that is like a droid, a killer droid. And that's why he says, come back. It's going to be worth lots of money and whatnot. But supposedly there was a problem with it. And and then at the end they find out they're gonna mass market it.
Yeah, it was a defense droid that they had issues with, but at the end they decide they're gonna market it, even though this thing has obvious glitches where it goes crazy and kills people. It's like Chopping Mall, just set in a dystopian future.
See, I wanted Chopping Mall. See, that's what I was gonna say. That I prefer, if it's gonna happen, if machines are gonna come and kill and do their thing, I'd rather have a Chopping Mall type of movie than this, where nothing was explained. Just all of a sudden these things start happening. Then they show that one cat, with the shades. I forget his name. He just starts acting weird for like. Is his name Shades?
His name is Shades. The one cat with the shades. He says.
He's aptly named then. Okay,
Literally,
good.
What's that one cat with the shades name?
Wow, Shades. Good. At least they did that right. Okay, so why was Shades all of a sudden acting a fool for like half an hour? And his buddy was calling him, and he was just sitting there doing.
He was on a trip.
Yeah,
he did drugs.
He took drugs that night. He was
on a fucking
drugs.
trip.
Yeah.
This is like a fever dream-esque kind of like. It's lovely, like kind of like Suspiria in a sense. Not the same. I'm just saying. Although you could say there's lots of colors in this too, but it's kind of like a lucid kind of nightmare that we're watching, and it's a very straightforward story.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't understand what you're saying. You didn't know what was going on. Like, say the robot can repair itself. So the robot ended up feeding into the power system, came back to life, and then rebuilt itself from whatever scrap parts she had in her apartment there, and then went on a rampage to kill. They allude to the fact that these robots maybe were around for population control.
Yeah.
Because we're told that the planet is overpopulated. She lives in like kind of a slummy, skeezy part of town. It sounds like, and
heavily
they are
guarded
space
too. Heavily guarded.
Yeah.
A whole army like working for her, defending the place.
Okay,
Look,
I guess.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I'm saying I guess I feel a little bit bad now about it, because when I said that, maybe because it was moving so slow and I wasn't 100% on board because of the pace of it and what the hell was happening, and then I was picturing something like I thought this became like Maximum Overdrive, but without the explanation. Just machines started coming to life and killing, because that's literally what I saw happening. And there was no explanation to me. I didn't see it on the screen. My gears weren't turning in my brain. I did not pick up. Obviously, C, you've seen it enough. B, you picked it up. Whatever. I'm watching it, and I couldn't figure out for the life of me why this is happening. And that's why I texted you and I said, I hope they explain why this is happening, because that's what was bothering me. I don't get this. And you said,
get enough though. You get enough with the background.
That's fine, but I checked out. I checked out because C said there's no explanation. So right then and there,
way to go, C.
I said, this is stupid. Then I go, why?
It's weird. I feel like you probably wanted a killer robot movie from the start, where I actually like the setup of it, the story. The fact that Moses is a military man returning, and I really was. If anything, I would have liked a little bit more about this creepy zone tripper or whatever they call him, who's the one who finds the robot. Like, I would have liked a little bit more of him.
Oh, yeah, the nomad.
The nomad. They call him a zone tripper. Like, it was just visually really good, and the music. I could see why this is a horror fan's like type of film, because of like the metal. It's got Iggy Pop in it. It's got Lemmy in it. It's got some
John Lydon. PIL. This is what you know.
Well, that's Public Image Limited.
Johnny Lydon. I fucking love it.
So that was great. Ministry, although when they're playing Ministry, they're showing gore, footage of gore.
I thought that. I'm like,
yeah.
I didn't think that, because I have no idea what you just said, but I get that Ministry is one of the groups that sang one of the songs on the album.
Gwar is.
Gwar is. Food of the Gods. Gwar 2.
Sick of you. Sick of you.
Oh, that's Gnaw. That's Gnaw 2. Food of the Gods.
I don't know. I don't know what Gwar sings.
Somewhat funny.
Gwar. No, I know. I've heard of Gwar.
Sing. I know what they look like, though. But they're playing Ministry. What were they playing? Stigmata, right? The look in your eye. Okay, yeah. I'm waiting to see this fucking. Thanks.
Dave, you looked mad when you did that. I don't know why. You just looked like the predator when you did that. I don't know why. I think Dave is sorry. I think it's these backgrounds. You guys are blending in. You're looking very predator-like.
But I'll tell you what, I didn't want anything. When you said I wanted this type of movie and this, I didn't know what to expect going into it. I went in blind. Hardware could have been fucking any kind of movie to me.
Open
Could
your
have been a
eyes.
slasher. I didn't know anything. I didn't want to open my eyes until the frame began. I went into it. I wanted to stay as blind as I could for as long as I could, and then be wowed. You know what I mean? Because I know how Christian talked about it. So I'm like, okay, let's see. And I know that this movie does have a reputation. I actually remember Fangoria back in the day talking about this movie. So I knew that it was a known movie. It's respected by some. I know Christian was into it. I'm like, okay, I don't know what it's about. I never watched it because I thought it might have been like a sci-fi-ish type thing. And it just didn't catch my fancy back in the day. But I was like, okay, let's do this. And I got to watch it. You know?
I'm the same way. And I regret
no
not seeing this when I was younger. Because I thought it was terrific.
Well, okay, so I was 16 when it came out, and I tried to sneak into this, and I got denied because it's rated R. And so I could not get into it. And my buddy
you didn't try to sneak in then, if you tried to walk up and actually get in.
Yeah, well, we tried to get
denied
other people
when you're sneaking in. When you're sneaking in, you get caught.
Yeah, I guess true. I buy a ticket for another. I guess how we did it was we bought a ticket for another movie, and then we go and we try to get into the R-rated one, and they're like, "Nice try, kids. Get the hell out of here."
So
that's how I.
Sorry, boot that.
Yeah. So you did try to sneak in. I'll take C side on that. That was a sneak.
That's how we do it.
The full story, yeah.
But my buddy, who was of age, the one I went to see like a ton of horror films with, the one that was in my like a few of my home movies and whatever, he saw it and he hated it. He said it was boring as shit. If you hate red filters, there's a red filter on the whole damn movie. And the soundtrack was horrible. And I watched it. I'm like, holy shit. I love the look of this movie. I love everything about this movie. And I love the fucking soundtrack. I can understand maybe the plucking guitar being maybe just a little like, okay. But I didn't mind any of that. What?
You know what that was? It was fucking Stephen King's The Stand. It sounded exactly like Stephen King's The Stand, that guitar. It was like a TV movie.
I thought it was Guar.
I'll tell you what the best part of the movie.
I like the soundtrack, and I don't even like that kind of music.
Yeah.
Oh, it was very good.
It fit well. I mean, I know it goes into video-esque territory. Now, he did direct a lot of videos as well. But I think he still keeps it within the realm. It works almost like an experimental part to the film. Like, I don't think you ever sort of leave the realm of the film. Like, it works for what he's presenting. So I've never been against that part.
What kept me engaged was the lead. What kept me engaged was this girl.
Oh my God. So gorgeous.
Oh, dude, wasn't she? If I wasn't so into her, I don't know what I'd feel about the movie. She carried it for me.
You guys are watching the movie like The Neighbor, right? Yeah, check that big fuck. Yeah. Yeah. Take it all in. Oh boy. You're hungry.
Dude. Now, did anyone else think that guy watching at first was also the little guy from the beginning? Because they kind of looked a lot alike except for the sideburns. So I was getting confused.
I didn't at all, but I could see why you did. I'll tell you what. Two things about this. I'd never seen a little person that fat before. I didn't even know they could be. I've never seen. I mean, think about this. I didn't even know they could be.
No, seriously. When's the time you saw one?
Is because that guy couldn't all walk the wibbly wobbly walk.
The wibbly wobbly.
And we all talk the wibbly wobbly talk. I just made that up.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was the best part of the movie. And I'll tell you why. Because he comes in there and he comes in the house and he says something about putting a string of popcorn up your ass and pulling it out. And then he started talking about the Hershey Highway. And you know what I started thinking about? Chocolate covered popcorn. I was like, oh.
That was the best part of the movie.
Yes.
Wow.
That and when the girl got naked in the lead.
Frankie, bring me some chocolate popcorn.
Well, seriously, I was craving it for like 2 days.
I thought the look was good, man. Like, this movie had like a $1.5 million budget. it wasn't super low budget, but it was definitely not a high budget movie. I thought he did a great job. I mean, I didn't know this at the time. I only found this out probably when we did I think it's when we were doing the 10, whatever, what was it, the top 40 years of horror. Sorry, holy shit, my mind just went
top
totally
40. What are we, fucking Rick D's?
40 years of horror. And I found out that the movie was a ripoff, or got sued by some writers of a Judge Dredd comic from back in like 80, 81. And they says one of the stories in the comic was a total ripoff of one of those stories. I had no clue of that. So they successfully sued them, which is why the DVD release was so delayed.
I did not know that. You might have brought it up on episode 10, but I don't remember that.
No, I don't think because we were talking so quick. I think it's just when we were researching and we're going back, and I was looking at all the movies that were released during a year. I'm like, oh yeah, hard.
Yeah, I couldn't find this anywhere. I know the DVD, Blu-ray, whatever is super hard to find, super expensive, but I couldn't find it streaming anywhere. I couldn't find it to rent anywhere. I had to watch it by nefarious means.
Yeah, I have a copy of it on, but it's rented. It was a copy of a DVD.
Okay. I really enjoyed it. I thought Iggy Pop was funny. I mean, just the opening, his monologue doing that news. He's like, and the good news is there is no fucking good news. And he's just,
yes.
I don't know. I like that. I like when they have like a disc jockey doing a lot of monologue. And my only probably complaints about this film, a little bit more about the Nomad, a little bit more about what Mo was doing in the military. Because I know him and Shades talked about being in space and stuff, so I didn't know what the extent of what they do was. But there's one little mistake I found with the film. When Mo goes to Aldi and discovers him dead there, he actually figures out, the Mark 13. He looks in the Bible, he sees the quote, the Mark, verse 13, line 20, no flesh shall be spared. And he starts looking through stuff, and he finds their weaknesses. He sees something about the moisture and humidity.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sees.
He doesn't.
He doesn't? Or he does?
No. He finds it out. She doesn't.
But when he shows back up at the end,
when
he shows back up at the end, why didn't he show up with water? He showed up with guns and stuff. That was the only minor quibble. I still loved it. The deaths were awesome. There was some really good gore in this.
Yeah. It was souped up for sure. That guy, the
creep,
the wibbity wobbity.
Yeah. And, we'll be able to see Santa Claus or whatever. And then it totally decimated. It's beautiful because he's such a creep.
Yep.
He is, and I mean, I love the fact, that she figures out it's using infrared. She hides in the fridge. That's a cool scene, very tense. I mean, the shower, all that. Even when she's thrown out the window, I'm like, oh my God, she's dead. And then, with Mo's character, I'm like, I wasn't expecting any of that.
Well, and they explain why she gets stuck in, because there is a weird kind of transition after that first death. She's just sort of hanging out at the house, but it's because her door has been compromised and won't open properly, which is why at the end, when the robot has fucked it up. So at the end, that's when it starts cut that guy in half.
Oh, that was great.
That's awesome.
Best as ever. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, there's some highlights, and those two kills are the highlights. The creep and the guy with the door are awesome. I don't find it slow paced or anything. I think there's enough visual stimulation to keep you going, and it just kind of clicks along. I need to give it a second chance. I'm glad that I don't have to come down on it, because I was going to come in and I was just going to say that I couldn't understand what was going on. I was aggravated with the movie because nothing was explained and it moved too slow, and I just fell out of it, and I had more questions than answers, and it just wasn't my bag. And I was just going to come and not be negative, but not have a whole lot to say, because there was nothing I could add except a couple witty anecdotes, like somehow, of all things to make it into the next century, Schlitz is the one thing that survived. Fucking Schlitz beer. Great. That's the one thing that made it. Gotta have that Schlitz. But I mean, I was gonna come in here and say all these things, not too negative, but I'm not as low You know what I mean? I feel a little bit better because of the discussion, because obviously Brandon got it right away. He knows the characters' names. He knows the plot, everything that's going on here. So
Yeah.
obviously it was my bad.
The
But
only thing
again, I shouldn't have sent that text. Or Christian shouldn't have answered it the way he did, because you said there is no explanation. Those literally were your words.
I thought you were expecting some revelation at the end to explain it all, and I'm like, no, you're not going to get that, but it's sprinkled in throughout. But not, like Brandon said, it's not spoon-fed. It's kind of like it's kind of like just throwaways. Like
it's Iggy Pop. It's a lot of him. If you listen to a lot of the dialogue, he's saying he's the one who's talking about the population control bill at the end and talking about
the population control bill.
But then at the end he talks about them being being approved and mass produced and stuff like that. So now it's like, oh shit, the world's fucked because these things are going to be mass produced. But I was a little confused when I guess this is a little spoilerish, so if you haven't seen it yet, next stop now. But stop now and come back after you've seen it. But when Mo is dying at the end, I thought he slit his own wrists, but I think that was just a result of the toxin he'd been injected with, right? Is that what? I
believe it was just a hallucination. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I thought he was doing the old. I at one point, you're right, because I always get you confused. I think of it as the Hellraiser scene, and I think he sees these bugs on him, and I think he starts cutting himself. Like, get them off me!
It was like Philip in Nightmare Place. No, but yeah, he was flipping out, but I didn't see him get injected with the needle. That's probably what it was. I'm like,
oh, he did.
I just missed it in all the chaos. So I'm like, why did he slit his wrist? What's going on here?
Yeah,
but really cool.
He gets stuck with the toxin. Yeah, that sends him on that on a bad trip. And they do those close-ups. That's why they have like very experimental like shots in there where it's like the like blood flow of the going through the body or whatever like that. You see it like wrap really fast and whatnot. And he inserts that a few times in there and some other things. And then cutting through she's doing the video and she's painting the head and everything. And I love her art. It almost, the comment when he's like, is this some sort of like, they're talking about the population control and how, you can't have kids. You counted out having kids a long time ago. They're having that discussion and whatnot. And he's like, is this your art? Is this some sort of response to everything? And she's like, no. She goes, this is not for anybody. This is for me. And he goes, well, what does it mean? He goes, it doesn't mean anything. And I almost want to say like, that could be like, Richard Stanley almost saying like, this film doesn't necessarily have to mean anything or whatever. I'm making it. It's a piece of art and it's for me.
That's interesting. I like that. I like that.
That's cool.
I never thought of that.
Thing. It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And
for me, like, I wish it would have been prettier. You know what I mean? Like I respect the kaleidoscope and this and that, but I wish it would have looked. Maybe they wanted it to look gritty because it's hardware and it's that type of movie. But I think I would have appreciated it more if it would have been like bright and pretty, like a Suspiria or a Neon Demon type thing. You know what I mean? It had the colors. It was almost like that movie. What was that movie a couple years ago that we didn't like? But Tasha Leone was in it. It was kind of artsy.
Oh,
but
that movie.
Afterbirth or something like that.
Afterbirth.
Yeah. It kind of had that vibe with it. And I'm not saying anything about to be a negative. I'm just saying the look of Afterbirth, it was a little bit like this, where they had, the wide array of colors, but it looked dirty. I would have appreciated it be more of a beautiful fucking color.
Is that just because it's 30 years ago though? Because I mean, I
look
understand.
At Suspiria.
Oh, you get a 4K
that's true.
Look at Bava.
Maybe
that's true.
Maybe the 4K copy or something would bring that out. A Blu-ray, maybe you'll notice it more vibrant. But I think it was, I think the reds are like a deeper red.
It's a Profondo Rosso.
Almost muddied. But you almost think there should be, like, getting back to like the meaning stuff. You almost think there should be more biblical, like what's he trying to tell here? But I couldn't find anything with him being called Moses or Hard Moses, and then with the Mark 13 and him reading from the Bible and everything. But really, unless there's anything else I'm missing, I didn't think there was any other direct relations to anything else biblical.
You're asking the wrong person. I didn't pick up anything. I'm not a religious scholar though, so I wouldn't know any deep dives on that. But I didn't try to look too deep for it. I just took it at face value. And her comment about the art being for her and it not meaning anything, I just took it as the fact that life doesn't mean anything to her because all she really wanted was a family. So she's just sort of passing time in this end of world times.
So is that her at the end? As a nomad, or did we just cut back to the nomad from the beginning? I always think that it's her saying this got. I don't. What is it called? Agoraphobia. What when you don't want to leave your house? That's what she. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure
it's like what do you call the guy with shades? What do you call it when you have agoraphobia?
No, I said, is that what it's called? I asked you.
I know, I'm just teasing.
Listen, a ghost is somebody that was once dead and is now walking the earth, or someone who is now walking the earth that was once alive.
So she seems afraid to get out of her house, and that's where I'm going with it. So she's housebound, and she doesn't seem to want to leave, and then all this shit happens, and she finds out that her house is being... Pardon?
Now we're talking about Housebound?
Oh. Yeah, that's what I said. I said, oh, boy.
We're talking about Deep Red, Housebound, Neon Demon. Are we reviewing hardware tonight?
So she's trapped in this house almost to protect herself, yet that's where she gets attacked. So after all this happens, I feel like that it's her at the end walking into whether it's the core or joining the core. Like she said, well, he's dead. I'm now doing something with my life. I'm getting out of here. And that's her walking off.
Did it say she never left? I mean, I was a little confused by that because you're right. It does seem like she is held up there. She has a lot of security and stuff like that. I took it as maybe, obviously they're more well-to-do. They're more of like the upper class living in the slums. So maybe they could afford it.
The welfare checks have started coming in. Like she's in she says the welfare checks have started coming back, and she just got a gig to do some refurb furniture or some art for some other corporation. But that's how she said money was just starting to come in.
Yeah, that's true. She did say that. Yeah. That's interesting.
So,
there's a lot of questions there.
Yeah, I just by watching it so many times, I was trying to bring something to the table too, because I didn't know what to expect. I'm kind of glad what I'm hearing from B. I'm a little disappointed only because I thought even the visuals would be enough for Dave.
I wanted them to be. They almost were. You know what? Maybe it would be, and you can rent it for $3. You can rent it on YouTube or Google Play. So maybe it's seeing it a different way because I thought through your Plex. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Maybe it would look better on, like B said though. It's like ridiculous.
You shouldn't watch it on Plex. It seems like it left you perplexed.
It did, buddy. I wasn't perfect.
Ends the jokes.
But listen, see, don't feel bad because I felt the conversation honestly brought me up. I was going to come in here and it was just going to be, it's a mild rumble. And I'm not like that now. So, I mean, and now I want to watch it a second time, but I think next time I'm going to do it the right way. I'm not going to go out and spend $30 to get a blue, but I am going to make a conscious effort to see it the way it's meant to be seen. Maybe that'll help me.
It's not by any means perfect. But I've always been high on this movie. It's just one of those movies that I guess maybe based on the fact that someone that I really trusted their opinion on absolutely hated it. When I first rented it, I was blown away. Like you
went in with low expectations.
Well, I went in reading the Fangoria article you saw or the Gore Zone one, and knowing that it got an X rating and had that elevator scene had to be trimmed to avoid that rating. And then I cannot remember now if the VHS was rated R or if it was uncut, but I just remember renting it and being excited to see it, and it did not let me down. So and then I remember
the cut version, the guy remains uncut in the elevator. So in the uncut version, he's cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ponder that. Holy shit. Full head explosion.
How is it like? How crazy is that when he is getting cut that he shoots his buddy in the head just from it's just like happenstance, like As
I
the gun goes
I
up.
thought that was his son. I thought that was the guy's son.
It might have been.
Yeah. See, now I'm more intrigued about why they had this security guard. Maybe they were just buddies with Moses because, he seems to be a well-respected military man. Because you're right. Now, she does talk about welfare and stuff.
They were in the building. They lived in the building. He calls her earlier, or she calls him earlier, saying that guy, that creep guy, rang her doorbell again.
Yeah,
and she didn't
they are in the building, but they seem to be very protective of her in particular. I mean, there's one scene where they're walking up the stairs, and you just see like a baby attached to like a passed out body on a rope.
Yeah.
I was like, is that a fucking baby?
I don't know what it was.
It was a baby.
I was confused. I didn't know what to think.
You didn't know what Shades was called. You're like, what's this guy in the Shades called? The whole movie. Can somebody tell me what the name of the guy wearing the shades is?
Acting a fool, lighting candles for no reason, and acting weird and going.
He even said the drug he took. I forgot what it was. It was something like made up thing, but he said he was like major. He had been saving that drug, and he tripped out. Like I guess because his buddy came home.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was up in space
got by
for a
me.
week.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He was up in space for a week.
No, but like he made a joke about like every time he comes down, he wants to go back up to space, and then But he goes back to his apartment and just fucking gets high.
There's a lot to this film where I would have almost liked a sequel. I didn't think at the end though it was her, but that's an interesting take. I just assume you're seeing the Zone Tripper going back out to salvage, but
I thought they were just bookmarking it at the end. Like bookmarking it from beginning to end, and that's all. But this time, watching it, I'm like, oh, they slam cut, and then it goes there, and I'm like, I wonder if it's him, or if it's her. And then at the beginning, he's wearing like steel studded boots, and I never went back to look at the end again to find out if it was
at the end.
boots. Assless chaps, yeah, tits.
Chapless ass. No, what the hell? You know what it reminded me of? Did you guys ever see the movie Dust Devil? It's another one of his movies, and I haven't seen it. I've owned it for years. I've seen it. Obviously, I've seen it, the box cover. But the guy in the beginning, when he was dressed up that way, I thought it was going to be a crossover, and it was the same character from Dust Devil.
It almost reminded me exactly the minute I saw him. Like this is Dust Devil, but I actually enjoyed I enjoyed this more than Dust Devil. But
is it the same people? Is it the same galaxy or?
I honestly don't. I've only seen Dust Devil once, also. So I'm not.
I've only seen Dust Devil once, so I can't. I got to see the new cut of it because then didn't he restore it? Because it was cut by the studio, and he finally put his director's cut on it.
Yeah, there's definitely a newer version.
Like, not finally, it's been out for years now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I have the uncut version. I've had it for years. It was a VHS rip. It was the only way to get it, I think. But I know that in this movie, it's the uncut version, but the guy that gets killed is still cut.
Excuse me.
Yeah, right. On that note, I better stop trying to do Brandon jokes. Yeah. They don't land when I try to do them. Only Brandon can do those kind of jokes. That's all there is to it. I can't do it. Okay. So
I mean, there's nothing. I don't think you could tear apart a bunch of layers here. This is what you see is what you get, but I think what you get is a lot of fun. It's a nice package with great music, visuals, good acting. We never even mentioned, like, it's Dylan McDermott, like, I think probably his first role or one of his first roles. He looks like a baby at this time. I guess was he in Hamburger Hill? I think Hamburger Hill was before this and then this. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but I think he was in Hamburger Hill as well. So anyway, it's early in his career, but the acting is solid across the board.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have no problem with the acting. Yeah.
It's just so much more to explore the more I think about it. That's a good thing.
Well, in the world that they live in, you're right. They could. Yeah. You could easily go back and expand upon it and be interested. I just don't know now with lawsuits and everything like that if they have the option to. But
it's still interesting, and it still makes it a more enjoyable experience knowing there's a lot more to it. It's not just sort of like contained. It feels bigger. I mean, 1.5 million, like you said, it's not huge. So I think they do a good job of establishing this really dramatic, dystopian future.
Yeah, dystopian, right. My favorite term.
And honestly, that's really not usually my cup of tea.
Dystopian.
That's usually not my cup of tea of movie. Like dystopian futures or post-apocalyptic, people dressed up fucking weird and all that shit. It's never just been something I've gravitated to. I've never seen Mad Max or any of that. None of that shit has ever, and I know some people love that idea. It's never really appealed to me. So again, it could just be a matter of my taste. It's just not something that I gravitate to. But I do know that I'm going to see it again. I can't get freaking. I've been listening to Public Image Limited like a lot, all because of that song being used in there.
Public Image. What the hell's a Public Image? What the hell's a Public Enema?
They got a bunch of great songs. Like if you're not a PIL fan, get to Apple Music, Google Play, whatever the hell you use,
and download Pill.
And yeah, check out their shit. Rise is another great song.
I'm a Johnny Rotten fan. Rise, absolutely. Yeah, that was the first PIL song. But I just been a fan of him since Sex Pistols. You know what I mean? In the early stuff that came out, and I didn't know how long they actually went on for. Anyway, I don't want to turn this into a PIL discussion, but either way, I'm gonna watch the movie again, and hopefully I can get it better quality. But I did come up. I'm willing to go with a half-head explosion instead of a mild rumble. I'm coming up a little, just out of respect, because I trust you guys, and I think there's more that meets the eye that I saw. So.
I love this guy. Like,
thanks, man.
I will change my mind every now and then, but usually, like The Craft, I came in and I'm like, no. And Dave was just selling us. Like, this is why I love it. I adore her.
On your behalf, even though I like The Craft. I fought for an hour with Dave, even on things I disagreed with.
I would have felt bad. I couldn't do that to Christian, and because if Brandon would have come in, well, it's okay. But if Brandon would have come in saying the same things, see, I didn't understand it. It didn't make sense. And I thought, you were going to come out and say, it doesn't need to make sense. I thought we were going to get into it that way. And I was just going to be like, well, it's just not for me. Whatever, mild rumble. But I'm open to discussion. Obviously, he enjoyed it. It all made sense. I'm like, okay, I must be the problem. It's not my cup of tea completely. But sometimes it is me. Or not me necessarily. My taste or the way I view movies. Sometimes, you guys know that sometimes I tail off and it happens. So I'm willing to.
Oh, we all. Say, hey, me too.
Yeah. So it's a half head. I'm going to be generous because
all of the new flesh shall be spared.
Well, I'll go next because I'm actually really interested in Brandon's where Brandon comes in. But based on where the rating would be, it's a full head explosion for me. It's not a perfect movie. A full head explosion for me.
You know what? I was in between those two, but I'm confident with this conversation coming in at a full head explosion. Nice. I'll just say it. I'm probably right in that 8.5 range where it starts. I really enjoyed this. I wish I'd seen this. I think I really would have liked this when I was younger, even though it wouldn't have normally been my cup of tea, and that's probably why I avoided it. But I think this would have definitely creeped me out.
I thought, man, this guy's got such a future ahead of him. And then he did Dust Devil, which I enjoyed. I didn't like it as much as Hardware, but I enjoyed it. And a lot of people have said that has much more to it. So I owe that a definite another watch. And then you all know what happened, right? He kind of went a little crazy, maybe. I don't know. And he did the Island of Dr. Moreau, got fired from it, and then tried to break into the own break into the. You saw that documentary? Then nothing. I guess he was doing music videos over that course of time, some short films and whatever, but nothing. And then like this year. The Color Out in Space, right?
Space.
And he did that film Replace a couple of years ago, which was actually a pretty good film. Yeah.
That was a weird film, but yeah, I can see that being him. Okay.
But it seems like he's definitely making a little bit of a comeback here.
Isn't he making a second one? A follow-up to Color Out of Space? Or am I wrong? Was it not him? Is it Nicolas Cage that's doing this Lovecraftian trilogy they're talking about? Surely you guys must.
I don't know.
You guys didn't hear this news? They've been talking about it for like a year. It's okay. It's no big deal. Maybe it's not him. Maybe Cage is doing another. Maybe he's doing Mountains of Madness or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely off. I just remember hearing about a Lovecraftian trilogy, and it was either going to be involving Cage or it was going to be involving the director. But
I think the second one's called the Cock of the Walk. That's why we haven't heard of it.
Are you kidding me? I was watching old wrestling the other day. And there's a wrestler called the Red Rooster from the 80s. And his finisher is the Cock of the Walk. That's correct. That was the guy's finishing move in the 80s. So there you go.
I think the three people who responded to that post saying, I've heard that all my life, are like the three minorities, because I asked so many people, they're like, what the hell is that?
What?
Who was it that was shocked? It was Jason Smith, Jamie Sammons, and Dave, right?
Yeah, I think it was definitely Jason Smith. Yeah, like three people. I'm like, nobody uses this phrase. I've never heard this phrase.
Nobody uses it, but we heard it. Of course, no, I don't use it now usually. I mean, I do it for jest on the show to come up with something different and has
when he actually makes his cock walk.
Check
this out, honey.
That's actually the walk of the cock. Get it right. Backwards. In the Z house at night, I have my own little ceremony. All right, baby, the walk of the cock. The old third leg is coming out.
I pogo stick in. Bow, 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 bow.
Oh shit! And I know what
yes,
B does.
Rated.
What do I do?
I know exactly what you do. You stand up and go like this, and you do the puss. You tuck it in and look in the mirror.
We can't even see what the hell's going on.
We could see you, but to be honest, I have done that many a times.
I think we all have. and I would fuck me.
And you know what I do? Yeah, you know what I do? I don't do would you fuck me, because it's already been taken. I go, who's a pretty lady? Who's a pretty lady? And then I stick a finger in my butt and I go, who's that? Who did that?
And I do it and I go, it looks like the 1970s down there. I'm like, what the fuck? This bush is like circa 1970.
Dude, let me tell you something. I am not a hairless wonder down there. It looks like Fidel Castro smoking the tail end of a Cuban.
I just imagine what I see up here down there.
It's basically this. Just move it down here. It's a mess.
Like, I think you get like a comb stuck into the top of your pubes.
You better stop. You better stop, man, because we're trying to get the date hooked up. Niagara Falls, the ladies, the drawing.
Oh, I'll manscape before the date.
You hear that, ladies?
I'm not an animal. Well, right now I'm an animal, but I'll...
I am not an animal.
I knew someone was gonna say
that. It had to be said.
Mamma mia.
Oh, so yeah, good. 2 full head explosions, 1 half head explosion. I'm glad. I'm
glad.
Really enjoyable film.
That's okay. That's good. Okay, well.
That's okay.
I have a feeling that I made a mistake here and someone else sent me questions. And if so, I apologize. Please send again. I could be wrong and nobody did. Maybe someone just asked about questions because we have a lot of people on that tier. And I think someone inquired about asking questions and I said, yeah, send them in. And maybe they didn't. So
if
I could
be listening. Send it for tomorrow night. Just kidding.
Maybe.
Just kidding.
Either way, we have a couple questions from John Rhodes. Spooky Rhodes, as he knows.
Christian's boyfriend.
Spookies?
Yep. Right, Spookies.
It's like the living incarnate of Spookies.
That's why they get along so well. Yeah. See? There you go.
His boyfriend.
Is this the cigar chomping son of a gun?
Yeah, the one who thinks you're such a handsome man. Clearly, he goes into our podcast blind.
Oh. I thought this is the guy that smoked the cigars. No, that was...
He smokes cigars.
He does smoke a cigar. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got the right guy. Why am I getting in trouble?
He's got his new podcast, too, and I forgot the name of it. Damn it.
Cigar smoking.
He put it on the website. Damn it.
Shades.
Yeah.
Shades, a hardware podcast.
Shades. Nice.
What was that guy saying that wore the shades? That really didn't get the laugh it deserved.
That is good shit.
What was that guy's name that wore the shades? Like, it was shades.
Unbelievable. Shades.
I'm sorry.
No, that's great. That is funny. Okay, let's talk. John Rhodes says, I think we've had this before, but we'll talk it again. If you could go back in time and attend the opening weekend of any horror movie, what would you pick?
We've answered this question before.
I know. And it's okay.
I think I said Friday the 13th because I would have just loved to have been there for the opening. But the more I thought about it, I think I might even have to go back and see Psycho.
That's my answer.
Weekend.
Yes. 100%. And not just because of the ending. The ending is what it is.
Go in late. Just say, fuck you, Hitch, and walk in.
But that's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at. Because of the marketing, because of the knowledge that you had to be seated to be there. And of course, at the time, it was a big deal to see the toilet. It was a big deal to see the freaking Marion Crane with a bra. It was a lot of taboos happening here. And then, of course, the incredible ending, which probably nobody saw coming. So that's going to hold more weight for me than Friday. As much as I love Friday, it would be great to see Jason jump out of the water the first time. Yes, but it's Psycho for me. So, yeah, that's two of us.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I don't remember what my original answer was. But I'm going with Jaws.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's out of left field. Wow.
I thought about it. I thought, what film would be absolutely terrifying to see on the big screen? And I feel like Jaws would definitely do it. Because Jaws is still frightening to this day, even just to watch on, a nice sized TV. I imagine on the big screen when it first came out, probably horrifying. I mean, it genuinely frightened people.
I think you said The Exorcist the last time, but I'm not positive.
I feel like I did too, but I'm going Jaws this time.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
I would like to join you guys at Psycho, but I'm going to see Jaws.
That's okay.
I'll meet you after.
They wouldn't let you in either.
They wouldn't let
They wouldn't let him in.
Sorry, little boy. This is an adult movie.
Okay.
You're going to see an adult movie with Dave.
Continuing on, let's get on to the adult movie. Speaking of theaters, I miss theaters. Do you guys miss theaters? Oh, wow, that's a start. Do I? I'll tell you right now, I kind of do miss them, but I'm going to be a little controversial and say that almost like the video store, which I do miss, the experience of it and other stuff, I can probably easily adjust to not having to go to the movies and just being able to see stuff debut on my television. I still miss it, but I don't think I'd have as hard of a time as some other people would.
If you'd asked me this when I was in high school or in my 20s, I would have said without a doubt yes, because I used to see every single film. There were points where I'd seen every, all 12, 14 films that were on the board. Like, that's how much I went to the movies. At this point, I'm like you. I could adjust. I don't want the movie theaters to fully go away because there are certain films that I do enjoy seeing.
What if the movie was played in multiple theaters? Did you see it in all the theaters?
Yes.
It was like soft.
Yeah, I saw it in 1, 2, and then I had to go to the end and see it in 11 and 12, in the big ones at the end. And then when they moved it into the middle after a few weeks, I went and saw it in the little theater.
I just wanted to confirm. Perfect. Thank you.
Different ending in each theater, you fucking skunk.
Nice. Awesome.
And
so what about
my
you,
wife
Steve?
works at a movie theater. So I kind of want to, like, from a business standpoint, I want it back in action. I would miss it. Can I adjust? Of course. Like anything, we adjust, things change, things evolve, but I would definitely miss it, man. There's something about going in there. Now, the theater she works at is more new wave, and in a good way, big screens, ample seating, like good views or whatever. But there's something about going there, getting popcorn, sitting there and just watching, being immersed in a film.
Man, they don't have popcorn at the new waves. They don't have
gummy bears, sour kids, whatever the fuck you eat.
Sour kids.
Sour kids. Aren't all kids sour?
No patches, just sour kids.
Sour Patch Kids.
He's got the ghetto version. Sour kids. He gets them at the 99-cent only store. Sour kids.
Sour children.
From Plamo.
Those are usually the assholes talking up front.
No, the knockoff brand for Christian, the cheap brand, is Sour Orphans.
Yeah. I don't have a problem eating them because I'm feeling like I'm doing them a service.
They only come with a little bit of sour on them.
Sour balls.
Orphans. Those exploded heads. Sour orphans.
Awesome. Ah, there you go. At the 99-cent only store. The thing
First, they're pissed off because they had no parents. Now they're pissed off because they're going to be eaten.
Nice.
That tagline needs a little work, but.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave. There. Go ahead.
No, that's well worth it. I don't even know. I'm just saying that the experience of being at home and seeing it in high def. I love my television setup. I love my sound bar. I love being able to pause the movie and go take a piss, or stop in the middle of the movie and go take something out of the oven and come back and sit down. And then if I want to have popcorn, I can make popcorn.
I like popcorn. I can make chocolate popcorn.
That's right, man. Drizzle that shit on. Yeah, I mean,
sprinkle some sour orphans in there.
There's pros and cons. There's pros and cons to both. So yes, I do love the experience of a theater, but there's very few movies that I feel at this point I have to go to the theater to see. Like most of the horror movies I'm going to see, I would be content with if they offered it that day at the house, the same day as the theater, I would just stay at home. If it's a Star Wars movie or maybe some blockbuster that I really want to see, yeah, I'll take the theater experience, but it isn't. I'm to the point now where we have the quality of what we have at our house. Or could have at our house if you purchase it. It's so great to have, you know. So that's why I'm saying I wouldn't miss it as much, and I could deal with it. But you know, I know it's unpopular. I know people are like, you know, waving the flags and you know, because everyone's a cinephile, and that's fine. I mean, we all are. But I mean, you know, I got to be true to the game. If I'm okay staying home a lot of the time, but that's just me.
Yeah.
You know?
I have a flag. I bring it out this time of year. It says God hates flags. It's not a very popular flag.
God hates what?
Flags.
Oh, I didn't hear the yell. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay. Woo.
Did you not hear the yell for real?
No, I'm teasing. I just heard the inappropriate joke. I heard the yell.
Can you imagine if he didn't say that?
Well, mine's already inappropriate in a sense, and you just added to it. I'm like, oh shit.
Patreon only. I guess we could say it.
Flag. There's nothing wrong with it. I wave it in the air.
I wave it too. Flags. You're right. It's Brandon that you know questioned the L.
Yeah.
I hang 'em high.
Tasteless. What?
I hang 'em high.
Hang 'em high or hang 'em high?
Hang 'em high.
Hang 'em high. You said hang 'em high. Vietnamese. Hang 'em high.
What was it? Vietnamese? I'm saying it right.
Vietnamese.
Vietnamese. You sound like a rapper. Vietnamese. All right, are we getting out of here sometime?
Question. Hold on. My actual question is, what was your best theatrical experience? Mine was the TCM remake. It was full of teens and everyone was screaming and interacting throughout, and it was just amazing. I'll never forget that. So
teens. He was like 30 at the time. What a creep.
Wow.
You're pretty.
You're a pretty teen.
He was 30.
Want a cigar? Yeah, I bought an extra cigar.
Bought a whiskey.
Do you like flags?
The cigar in my pocket.
What did you say?
I'm happy to see you. Poor John. Sorry, buddy.
You like cigars?
It's a boy.
I'm trying to think of the experience. Hard one.
Mine's easy. I've said it before. Friday the 13th, the final chapter. That's when I was 12 years old. I just got into the franchise shortly after I saw part 3 on cable.
Uh-oh. What happened to him?
I don't know.
Oh, motherfuck. What happened?
You said Friday 13th, the final chapter, and then you were going into explanation.
Can I be heard still?
Yeah, now you can be heard.
Okay, Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Okay, it was 1984. I was 12 years old. I had recently gotten into it. I saw part 3 on cable. It became my love obsession with slashers and with Jason and all that stuff. And I begged my father to take me opening night, and he did. And I had no idea it was going to... I had no idea it was going to be like that. Oh, God. I had no idea that...
I love Brandon's face. That's what makes it better. It's his disdain for the joke.
There was no other way for me to phrase it, and I knew it was going to be funny. I did. I had no clue that the people in the theater were going to react the way they did. That when Jason killed somebody, all the kids were going to be. Everybody was like cheering and hooting and hollering, and the energy that was in that place that night, and just the way
You
everybody.
guys are the same people who complain now if a noise is peeped at a movie theater. Same people who are enjoying the experiences of clapping and cheering every kill back in the 80s.
Are you kidding me?
Slasher.
Great. Just don't talk through the movie. Cheer when there's kills and shit, and comment about a punchline. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that. Just don't. I want to hear the dialogue in between. You know what I mean? What the fuck?
Namis.
Anyway, the final chapter, man, that was it. It was quite an experience. I'll never forget it. It was so much fun. I wish I could go back in time and do it again. So there you go.
Brandon, I can't think. I mean,
I have different answers. It depends. Even though they're the shittier sequels, the Nightmare on Elm Street 5, 6, the Friday 8, just for the nostalgia of my childhood. Even though I don't really love those films anymore, I love the feeling I had of being a child. It was like late summer, and it's just, I don't know, it was really just a good time. Also, the experiences of seeing all the Saws opening day with my mother, who was a huge horror fan, awesome experiences. And as a teenager, I guess I was 16 when it came out, 15 or 16, Independence Day was just a blast in terms of remembering the theater being absolutely filled to capacity. We had to sit in the front row, which is normally like a nauseating experience. But with that film, wow, it was just incredible. So, I mean, I know I gave a lot of answers, but...
Well, no, but I'll echo the Jason Takes Manhattan because it was the first one I was able to see in the theater with the guy that I couldn't go see Hardware with. We went to see that together, and I was young, and it was, I loved being there, but I've said this on the show, I was like wanting the movie to be good, and as the movie was happening, I'm trying to make excuses that I think this movie is good, but I'm crying inside almost because I'm realizing that it's not what I wanted.
Well, you were a little bit older because you're like 5 years older than me, but back then seeing those same films, I was like 9 or 10. You were a teenager, so you were more understanding. But I think I just enjoyed the experience because I was seeing horror films at such a young age.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, I remember even Freddy's Dead. When they told you to put the 3D glasses on, it was just the coolest, creepiest experience. And now that movie is garbage, but just that memory of seeing it in theaters is just awesome.
That movie's actually the one that I think my kids like the best.
Makes sense.
They actually didn't mind that one. I'm like, and they're like, Dad, why do you hate this one? I'm like,
you see?
Yeah, but I don't want to like after we talked about it. I'm like, I don't want to hate you.
No, because they're not trying to pass it off as serious horror. They were wise enough when Part 6 came out to say, you know what? Fuck making a half horror, half comedy movie. Let's just do this and let's just go balls to the wall and let Freddy freaking do what he's great at this point in his career. And that's why they like it, because it's a lot of fun.
Also, Christian said, kids pay me no mind. I like Prom Night 4 and 3 from Hell.
Boy, do I hate you.
And let me.
I said Scream. I went to the theater so many times, and then by the end of it, I was watching. I was doing the Tom Savini that he always talks about when he's like watching people's reaction when Jason comes out of the water, and you're like, shut the fuck up, Tom. You never did that. But that's what I would do. I was like in the theater watching Scream for like the 4th or 5th time, and I'm watching people's reactions and getting giddy.
He's watching teenagers. Were you there with John Rhodes?
Yeah.
You guys eat that cigar
in my ass. They called me Deep Throat for a reason. So there's that experience, and then I would say My Bloody Valentine 3D for that same thing. It was like just everybody was having a blast. No one was taking it too seriously. The 3D was fun, and people just liked it.
I'm going to say something controversial. Since in the 80s, this used to happen. People would applaud at the end of movies. For the most part, nowadays, that doesn't happen all that much. But I will tell you this. The last 2 times I have been to the theater, this is the God's honest truth, and at the end of the movie, the crowd applauded. Were these 2 movies. Rob Zombie's Halloween and Star Wars The Phantom Menace.
Dude, I feel like people always clap at like a Star Wars type film when it ends. Like a huge blockbuster. I mean, there are gonna always be haters, but I feel like those types of films. I'm surprised Rob Zombie's Halloween.
So am I, but people applauded it, and The Phantom Menace, which is the most hated one in the franchise for the most part.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, it's close.
So
it's that or clones.
Yeah.
It's that or episode 2. Anyway, I can't get into it now. But back to the Friday the 13th, I'm going to say one more thing. I'm so happy that my movie ended up being as great as it was because it's coming back to me. I remember at the end, yes, people were cheering Jason the whole way, but they erupted when freaking the machete hit Jason's head from Trish when it first happened. And his head sliding down, everyone's going, just that whole experience. And it all is just coming back to me. It was just
Tubbs video watching you?
No, but John Rhodes was.
Yes. I was just going to say, he was pulling a John Rhodes.
Hey, Dave, want a cigar?
Did they boo when Jason broke Gordon's back?
Why don't you go Gordon yourself tonight?
I'd like to Gordon myself after tonight's show.
Oh, man.
Lovely Molly. We're going to talk about Lovely Molly, but before we do that, we have to read an email from Mr. Eric Webster. Okay, so here it is. Hi guys. Hi guys. Sorry. I chose Lovely Molly as my Patreon feature review for June, and I wanted to give you a little background on why. I don't know about you, but occasionally there are podcast episodes that I look back on with regret. Occasionally. Since joining Dark Discussions, one of my biggest regrets is that when we initially reviewed Lovely Molly, I came in kind of low on it. I didn't understand why we're heaping praise on it and became the curmudgeon of the show, kind of crapping on the film. Well, as it turns out, I had a different experience than my co-host. I went back to watch it again and found that I had missed a lot through no fault of my own. As it turns out, the digital rental I had gotten had a screwed up soundtrack, and it was missing a lot of the sound design, including horse noises. Watching it again with the complete...
including horse noise. Hey, I want to return this. My horse noises weren't working.
They are important.
They are.
Oh, shit. Including horse noises. Hello. Okay.
I'm sorry. I was
watching again, this is a movie that rewards... What?
I was gone for the last minute. I don't know what the hell happened there.
Yeah, I noticed you froze. I thought it was me. That's why I turned my camera off and on. Did you?
I apologize. The last thing I heard was the horse noises.
Okay. Oh, well, Dave was just finishing reading the email, so.
So I apologize, but yeah, the horse noises, we started laughing, and then I died.
Okay. That was worth it for just that. Okay, so the horse noises. Okay, hold on. Where was I?
Sorry.
Including horse. It's okay, buddy. It's good. Patrons just got a bonus in the video. Okay, watching again with the complete soundtrack was a much better experience, and Lovely Molly has now become a personal favorite that I watch at least once a year. This movie is a fantastic example of how important sound design can be to a movie. Between the sound design and Gretchen Lodge's performance, this is a unique movie that I feel is underseen. One of the reasons I chose it for you to review is to try to make up for my initial miss on the review and get it in front of more people. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of the interspersed found footage aspect of the movie, but I can't think of another way to present the movie that would the information with the same timing, which I do feel is important for the film. This is a movie that rewards multiple viewings, so if you haven't given it the Dave Z second watch yet, I would encourage you to do so. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Okay? Thank you, Eric. Now, I put this movie on my 30 because Eric was talking about it for a little while, and I wanted to watch it before we did our episode 100 because it was a movie from the last decade. So, you know what? He likes the movie so much, I'm going to sit down and watch it. And I sat down and I watched it. I really liked it. And I said, this is a movie that I think needs to be dug deep into. So when it came time for each of us to put 10 movies you want to review on the list, I chose this movie, and luckily Eric picked it. I'm really curious about these two gentlemen. The second view definitely helped, but I do think there's stuff to talk about.
I got the new release, which comes with extra horse sounds. What are you, a duck? It's like a duck horse.
A duck horse. Yeah.
Hey, the dark horse, the duck horse.
Yeah.
Oh, what a pill! What a pill!
Wow.
Oh, Molly, I get it, Molly,
A
the
face
drug.
only a mother could love.
I got Molly, the drug. I get it.
Lovely Molly.
Lovely.
You know what I'll start with this. My experience was like the first time Eric watched it.
I think you're just a curmudgeon.
Well,
So
It's definitely a slow burn. It's a slow burn. It is. This is my second or third time seeing it, and it is a slow burn. I'm glad Eric praised Gretchen Lodge's performance. I'm surprised she hasn't broken out and done a lot more, because I thought she was terrific in this. But I agree with him. The found footage aspects, I don't see any other way to do it, but that's the one thing that can not take you out of it, but that can confuse people, because it does jump a lot back and forth. In fact, I have B and F written next to every scene I wanted to talk about, meaning
butt
B
fucking?
for no, butt fucking. Yeah, butt fuckery. No, B for back and F for forward, because it starts, in the future, and then it goes back like a little over a year and starts with the wedding.
I thought they wedged in the found footage because it was the guy that directed the Blair Witch. So they're like, you got to put some found footage in here or you're not getting the money for the movie.
Did I even introduce the film? We didn't introduce it, did we?
oh no,
Nope.
because of my thing. Okay, you know what? Introduce the film. I'm gonna run upstairs because my AirPods don't want to work today, so I got to get my old-fashioned plugs. So you guys go on until I.
Okay, I'll.
Bandana won't just.
Dude, I'm glad I don't have this background thing now. I like it. Dave's couch keeps disappearing. yours works better
My
than
tooth
Dave's.
keeps disappearing. Like, I want to know. I'm hardwired. His reception seems to be worse than ever.
Yeah, he broke up a few times. I saw your
Okay.
face, and I'm just like, I'm not saying anything because. Fucking this curmudgeon. Curmudgeon? Am I saying that right?
Oh, fuck. My tooth looks extra spacious today.
Get the jump
So
rope out. Get the jump
so-
rope out and clean that space.
I went to the dentist this morning. I've got the impressions done. Flipper should be ready in a few days.
Hey, I get no respect. How many more impressions am I gonna get?
Do Gilbert Godfrey. Do Gilbert Godfrey.
I can't do Gilbert. Oh, that's funny. Dave, we were having a good time without you.
We did not introduce the movie.
We did not introduce the movie, but Christian did say he went to the dentist this morning and got impressions done, and I went, I got no respect. How many more impressions you want?
He loved his own jokes so much. He had
And I had to tell Dave.
That's a good one. I knew it was gonna be an impression when you said that. I just didn't know which one it was gonna be.
Yeah.
So.
Where's your Cosby? There's no Cosby tonight?
Who talking to me?
No, impressions.
Oh, Ghosted? Oh no.
All right, so I'll sorry, Dave. What were you gonna say?
Nothing. Introduce the movie. That's what I was
All
gonna
right.
fucking say.
Yeah. All right, Lovely Molly. It's listed as 2011, but I think it was 2012 when it came out here. Newlywed Molly moves into her deceased father's house in the countryside, where painful memories soon begin to haunt her. And this is directed by Eduardo Sanchez.
Brother of Dirty.
Good brother.
I love that joke.
That's a good joke.
Indeed. And cousin to Mark, Mr. Butt Fumble himself, to the football fans out there. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
C, you think it was forced because it's Eduardo Sanchez and he always wants to, either the studio made him force it into it, or he said, I'm Mr. Found Footage, so I have to do this?
I say that kind of, I was half joking when I was,
Okay.
when I was saying it. However, yeah, with him at the helm, with the Blair Witch behind him, I feel like you definitely didn't need the found footage. Let me rephrase, like, you don't need the wedding portion in found footage and all that. It could have just been presented to us in a flashback. You need there's a couple good scares where she's filming the door and whatever, but that's different. That's just a character in the movie filming something. But I guess it's more confused with the fact that they present the whole opening in a found footage way.
Yeah, it really does. It could just start at the wedding and then just be a year in her slow mental decline.
Yeah.
Mental lapse. But
But like they always interject in these kind of movies, whether it be a regular found footage movie or one that just puts it in here in bits and pieces, it's always good to give background that somebody, a main character, is a fan of videotaping things. So why not start at the beginning with a flashback of a videotaped, a wedding, a
But
celebration.
this footage never plays into any part of the story, though. It's just for us. It's nobody's ever discovers this, and that's the whole downfall of that. Is that even at the end, the sister discovers just the photo album in Molly's old room. So I don't hate it. Believe me, it doesn't hurt my rating of the film. The fact that it's found footage, it's just odd that nobody ever discovers this footage and Molly's disappearance. Nobody's like investigating this.
Well, she does come on at the beginning saying what she says, saying that if this thing, wasn't me, they won't let me do it. And she tries to act like she's going to slit her throat and doesn't. So right off the bat, we're introduced to this. We know that she's going to be doing something, making some type of video diary, if you will. But why not make it that she's, maybe she has the video camera because she is flashing back to good times and she's watching her wedding video because they were so happy and they're newlyweds. And why not have that just like interjected into the movie that maybe she's, in that frame of mind of happy times and watching the video. Plus it gets to show us how happy they were. I like it better because think about it. Look at it this way. Hold on. Don't you think it's nicer to see it that way than to just see it in regular and have it? Because you can go zip, zip, bang, bang when you do a video. You can just do a clip here, a clip there. This is the toast. You know what I'm saying? This is the toast by the best man, the bride, the bride of honor or whatever the hell it's called, the maid of honor. Sorry. Yep. Okay, but you know what I'm saying? But no, listen. You're getting a little clip here and a little clip there. The only time you could do it that way.
Here a clip, there a clip, everywhere clip.
I could use a little clip off the top.
No, but you know what I'm saying? If they were going to show this regular style of a regular film, that wedding stuff would have taken 15 minutes. Now we can just get clips of it, because you're not just going to watch a movie and just get a clip there.
I actually agree with you. All I'm saying is that even that opening shot, which is taking place October 16th of 2011, which is like a week or two before the end of this movie, where she's saying, it wasn't me, I can't control it, it won't let me, it won't let her kill itself. That's a great shot at the beginning because it sets you up that you're going to get, is this woman going to descend into madness? Is there something supernatural? Is it both? How's this going to play out? But at the same time, nobody's really watching that footage. That footage is still just for the viewer. But I agree with you.
Hold on. She says, while she's doing the video, she goes, this time I'm going to make a record of it. The last time nobody believed me because she went into it and she had trouble before. So that's why she's making this video, because she wants video proof. She goes, I'm going to record. If I see some fucked up shit here, and if things start happening, I don't want people to think, she's back on the junk or this or that, or she's losing her mind. She has to go to an asylum or anything. She's like, she says it. She says those words. I am going this time around. I'm going to show everybody by recording it.
No, it makes sense. It makes complete sense, especially as a former drug addict. But the bottom line is nobody views this found footage, except
and she should have been more adamant of not filming the door and actually filming the action. That time when she's filming in the basement.
I kind of like the filming in the basement. I like it that I like the POV that we get from her shooting perspective. I like that. I'm just pointing that out, but I actually like the style of the film, even though it gets a little confusing, especially when the flashbacks meet up with this time, because the flashback, the wedding starts is like literally a year before where she tries to kill herself, and then they kind of jump through and back, and then eventually it meets up at this one point. Mm-hmm. But her performance is terrific. I love Alexandra Holden as her sister. The husband was good. The husband was good too. It was a solid film. I mean,
it was competently made, for sure. Like the acting, like she does do a great job. There's no problems with the acting whatsoever. I just thought it was a little ho-hum for the first 35, 40 minutes.
The sound, Eric is right about the sounds. When you really listen, especially if you have the subtitles on, you hear the faint singing, you hear the growling, you hear the horse sounds. You do pick up on that, and that's really unsettling stuff that I actually picked up more on this time than the last time I watched it.
Well, listen, this is just my kind of movie, is what it comes down to. I love intimate movies, that are slow moving, where evil is present and you don't know why. This is just this kind of movies in my wheelhouse. I like these. These are the kind of movies that I like to curl up with, if you will. It's just there's something comforting about them when it's just a few characters, and
I guess
it's just
you
me though.
totally
But
misinterpreted this movie. I thought. I guess I have to give it to Dave Z's second watch. This was a first time watch. I thought it was her dead dad haunting her, and she was abused and he had raped her.
Well, so why not?
I thought he had raped her and abused her all her life, and her sister. And that's what I thought it was. No.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. Okay. But you do see evil afoot here. You do see evil afoot. You do. There's going to be spoiler heavy, by the way, everybody. So
yeah.
You do see where she goes at the end of the movie when the thing opens up. There is a presence there. Now I know I was going to say this at the top of the thing. I was going to say Brandon is going to love this movie because he's going to interpret this thing as psychological. Am I right?
No, you know what? It's part psychological, but it turns full on.
You can't
paranormal at the end.
Well, because if they didn't have that last scene with the sister at the closet, no, but if they didn't have that scene, you could argue they could have just let it. They could have just let it go, and you could have made the decision yourself.
Because even when she sees that beast, which I think I like the way they shot that scene. I think you see just enough where it looks terrifying and really creepy. But even if they didn't shoot that last scene, you could still interpret, well, maybe because she's back on the drugs, she's just out of her mind and just seeing all this. But that last scene with the sister takes it, into the supernatural, paranormal. Exactly. And
unless that's what he wanted to say, like, look, you're the whole time you're like, is she, isn't she, isn't she, is she, and at the end it is, oh no, it's evil, no question. Unless they wanted to get that final, like, there's no question here, you're leaving this theater or watching it at home, and you're gonna know that it's evil.
I love the way those scenes are shot, though, especially where she reaches for the hand, and even at the end, I like the fact that they don't show anything. You don't see any cheesy ghosts or anything like that. I like paranormal films when they lay off the paranormal stuff, or it's hinted at. I like it more, sound based and just like in the corner of your eye type thing. I think that's why it's such like a huge fan.
You didn't like Jane Doe.
No, because that just ran down your throat. This is why I like a film like Lake Mungo. Everything in that movie is it was in the corner of your eye the whole time. You didn't see it, and then at the end it's like it's almost like a sixth sense in every single scene in that movie. When it's like revealed, like, oh my God, it was right there. Like, what the fuck? All right, I'm getting a little excited over Lake Mungo.
And I think maybe that's my issue, is that I was expecting more from this, and it's nothing's wrong with it. That's the thing. I don't hate on the film by any means. I just felt underwhelmed because I guess I expected more. But her performance was great. It's competently made. You're right. The sound, Eric's right. You guys are right. And I'll totally agree. The sound design is creepy. Like, there's some really unsettling sequences where she's getting fucked.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
Or whatever through the security cam as well.
Wow, yeah.
Just
that
like
shit
there's
at
some
work when she falls apart.
Really creepy scenes. And so I guess you need the build to make that work better. So, again, I could be forgiving of that. And I'll give it kudos. Brandon, don't fucking make your usual joke when I say
the kudos joke. I heard kudos. I was like, I'm looking at my notes because I'm
yours.
I was just because I texted you guys and I just said, 30 minutes in, I'm like, this should be called boring Molly. But I was, again, I loved it when I'm watching a movie, I'll throw you guys a couple of texts here and there, but I do not hate the film by any means. I just think I was expecting more from it.
That's fine. Going in, you don't know. I get that. That happens. I think the second view will help you. I just think it's an intimate, you're getting to know their relationship. You're seeing how good it is. You're getting more and more background about her slowly, the layers being unpeeled, and then by the time we get to the end, all kinds of stuff has happened and all kinds of stuff is revealed, and not in your face either. You know,
exactly. You're getting
requires-
you're getting little bits of it throughout, like the shot of the deer. You're like, what the hell does that mean? And then the big reveal later. Oh, hard, disgusting. But even the way just her look changes throughout, because she looks. I mean,
her look.
Yeah.
Her look when the priest or the I don't know.
The pastor. Yeah.
The pastor's there
and
whatever, and then she's just like that guy's like coming in his pants, you know it.
Yeah, but Molly turns out to be a little bit of a biter.
Oh man.
She's a biter. She must give a terrible BJ.
Just have Pastor Bob.
Pastor Bob, is that his name?
No.
What's his name?
Pastor Bobby, yeah.
It was?
Yeah, Pastor Bobby. Yeah.
Was it Shades?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Shades.
Future's so bright. Yes. Tim is the husband. Maybe that's why Tim. We get that reveal later, which I thought was so well done because I forgot that that's where it led to. Because I'm watching it and I think it's real creepy when you see that she's filming this other family and she's humming and what's going on here. She's spying on these people, and then I 100% forgot that it led to what it led to, and I think that's a good reveal. And I was not expecting.
Not only that, it is a great reveal, but what happens to the daughter that she's spying on? Like, it's fucking dark. This film, it's a lot darker than you think.
You know what?
Because they don't show it.
As we're talking about it, I remember in all these sequences, and they're good. There's a lot of great stuff here.
Yeah.
That whole sequence with the daughters, it's great. Did Dave just go AM radio?
For like 10 seconds he did.
Yeah.
AM radio. Really?
You sound very AM radio right now. Is that going to affect how he sounds?
I'm sounding AM radio?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What do you think? It filters to normal?
I don't know. It filters to normal.
So Christian was coming up. That was good. What else? What was I going to say? There's more. What about the fact that her sister killed somebody and they just kind of like said, she goes, you were right to kill Charlie. We don't even know what that's about. But
I thought that was her dad.
That was her dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. I didn't know that the name Charlie had anything to do with it. Oh,
yeah. She killed her father to basically protect the family, to protect her and her sister.
Yeah.
Primarily her sister, who I think was a victim of abuse. But it's weird. It seems like Molly almost had like a Stockholm syndrome. Like she still like loved her dad, and that's why she sort of like what?
Stockholm? Is it Stendhal?
Stendhal, Stockholm. Well, yeah. Why would she go back to that house?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think she still like had this like love for him, but I think sort of like everything sort of revealed itself as she was, in the house and looking at the pictures. But even that, I don't feel like it almost like didn't change her at the end. It's almost like she still like embraced him. It was almost like the sister.
Evil.
Yeah, it's almost like Natalie, even though she's the one who killed him, was like the only normal one until that very last scene.
I'm telling you, there's evil afoot here. That's what I'm trying to say, and it has something to do with what happened with the father.
Evil.
I'm laughing.
Because it's a foot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, evil a hand. Is that better? So there's evil. There's evil present. And maybe that's what's going on here. As far as everything with the horses, what's your interpretation of all the horses? Why? Why is the father a horse? And what's with all the horse noises and everything else?
Maybe he's hung like a horse.
Awesome.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can't have a 12-inch penis, though, because then it would be a foot.
Oh.
Cock of the walk.
Cock of the walk. Oh,
Evil's afoot.
That's interesting. I mean, I just thought, what role does the horse play in sort of evil?
Horseplay.
Horseplay.
Yeah, a little horseplay going on here, kids.
No, seriously, because you always hear about like in like witch movies and stuff, the goats and rabbits being familiars and stuff like that. Does the horse play any sort of like lore, any sort of like, role in horseplay?
Google it.
I don't know, but if we can't figure it out, don't come whinnying to me. Hey,
Winnie the shit.
Yeah. Woo. So anyway, I'm coming up with these B jokes.
I'm looking at my notes. I didn't take a lot of notes, in terms of questions of the horse stuff.
I took notes. Oh, not with a horse. No, I did. I just said horse picks and voices. You know what I mean? The voices. How about it? What about her getting high? Do you think if she doesn't get high on her birthday, things are different here?
And I think Natalie regretted it instantly, but I don't think so.
Dumb fucking move.
Yeah, that was a dumb fucking move, and I think it was going to happen anyway because I think just the chaos of her being alone in the house, and a good call having him being a truck driver, so he's away from home, and leaving
For the
her
whole
to
movie.
Yeah, pretty much the whole movie.
Except the fucker one said. So, are you saying that the weed was her gateway back to heroin?
Well, an
addict. Yeah, I get it.
Sure. People know you can't be an addict and then just say, I'm going to go to fucking rehab. I'm going to come out. And you know what? I'm just going to smoke weed and drink. It doesn't work that way. You're fucking fooling yourselves. And people do that shit all the time. If you're sober, if it's that big of a problem that you have to go to rehab, that means you have to live a sober lifestyle or you don't. It's one or the other.
Yeah, she was a hardcore addict. It's not like we're talking about like,
Right.
It's not like, oh, you got to cut down on your weed smoke. I mean, she was a full-on heroin addict.
That's bad. And it's just, and then she started doing what she was doing. And isn't it weird, though? She did heroin, and then it made her horny. She fucking just goes on her husband and starts fucking him in the kitchen. That was hot, though. That was good.
Oh, man. How about when she bites his face? Ah.
Oh,
that was hot, too.
Dude, I can't even.
That hurt to watch.
It fucking did hurt. That was one of the. I'm telling you, that scene really stands out as something. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot it from the first time. But when it happened again, the whole time I was just like struggling through it. Whew.
Yeah.
Man, this
My
isn't
wife
under.
bites me like that. I'm not sticking around.
I'm with you.
Call me an asshole.
I'm with you.
I'd been like, sorry.
That's what you sign up for. Word. That's what you sign up for. But that's what you sign up for when you're with somebody that's been a heroin addict. You have to give them a pass, and going back to their house where she has problems. That's when you take on someone that has that type of.
Oh, I would never do it.
I found it. Oh, this makes sense.
I can't deal with that shit.
It's hard to deal with it.
Norse mythology. Its origins in Norse mythology. It's called the Nuckalavee. The Nuckalavee is a horse-like demon from Orcadian mythology that combines equine and human elements. It has its origins in Norse mythology. So there you go.
Look how fucking white he is.
I know.
It was just like
I hate every time I
just radiated right.
That's because I have to minimize the black sky screen to read that off of the site I found it on. Hey.
Oh my God! I'm gonna bring up a.
Are you shocked at how white I am?
Let me bring up a website.
Or the Norse mythology.
I'm gonna bring up a website. This is bringing up a website.
Right. He's the only person I ever heard of that going on a website is like going into a channel.
Look, Wikipedia is very white. I'm
gonna go to Wikipedia. I'll go to Wikipedia just to keep
I
this
would, but I don't want to fuck up my microphone if I go on a web.
I'm on Wikipedia. Did I change it all?
You look a little yellow.
Okay, you look a little bit something.
You look reflection. Yeah, you got a little yellow. You look like you got a sun on your forehead.
It's off now. The website's gone now. So
and the sun remains. Yeah, is the sun gonna set?
It's weird. I'm not. We've had enough technical difficulties.
Because there's a light right here.
Norse mythology, the Nuckalavee, or the Nuckalavee.
I'm Brandon. Look, everybody, I'm Brandon. Oh, my fucking eyes. That was karma coming back to get me.
Good. Would have been funny if you knocked out a tooth on the lamp when you were...
Doc, can you make that a double?
Hey.
Toothless aggression.
Two impressions.
Hey. I had a rough day today.
Okay, so there. So at least we have the explanation of the horses. This is all this evil mythology.
Okay, there's evil here. Why would she do that shit with the priest? You don't just... Huh?
She's partially possessed at this point.
That's the way I look at it. There's evil here. It's not just the fact that she had what happened with her father happened to her. It's a much more than that.
I agree. I agree.
And that's what I like about it.
I don't mind it.
Usually
it's something that I don't like, but it's done subtly to the point where the whole mystery of the film is it one or the other, or is it a combination of the both? And it turns out to build to both. Build to both. Build the bear.
Build the bear, right?
because early on when she's filming it and she's like, he's right there, and Tim doesn't see anything. You're like, okay, she's crazy. But then at the end, by the end, things are happening in the house. Doorknobs are shaking. Things are going nuts. The sounds, and obviously seeing this horse-like creature standing outside her house, embracing her into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Although I liked the horse-like creature, but if you pause it and kind of zoom in,
it looks
a little bit. It looks a little bit like Wile E. Coyote.
Yes, it does. I thought it looked a little bit like Puka. I never saw Puka either. He's like a Hulu After Dark film.
Yeah, there's two of them actually.
Yeah.
Puka Returns they had.
Puka.
They did. I'm telling you.
Puka
They did. Puka and Puka Returns. I didn't even see them.
Weekend at Puka's.
The fuck is a puka?
It's one of the Hulu After Dark films. They have like 100 films. It looks like an evil teddy bear or something.
What about a hookah? You know what a hookah is?
Did you ever smoke a puka at a hookah?
This is a funny story. One time, me and my friends were at my house, and my brother and his friends we were all in the house. And okay, so my friend said to one of my brother's friends, he goes, did you ever smoke a hookah? Right? The kid thought that a hookah was one word and it was like some new drug. He was like nervous about it and shit. He's like, he looked at my brother. He goes, I don't think I want to mess with it. He goes, hey, did you guys ever smoke a hookah?
I've actually smoked hookah, so.
Nice. Hookahs are good, man.
Yeah, I go to hookah lounges occasionally.
Oh, you don't smoke weed, though. You smoke fucking strawberries and shit.
Oh, yeah, I smoke flavored tobacco. I ain't smoking weed.
Well, I got excited. I thought you were fucking puffing on a hookah getting baked. I
used to get baked, but I don't get baked anymore.
I think that's what you need. But anyway, let's that date at Niagara Falls. Okay. I don't know where the hell I wish we could watch it another time and do another review and try to dissect it more, because there's things here, and I wish maybe Eric knows a hell of a lot about it, but there's more here. You know what I mean?
Well, if you didn't shit on the film so much, then maybe you would have noticed it.
No, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot going on in the dialogue, especially Molly's sort of recordings of her talking to herself. She's talking about you wouldn't have done these things if you loved me. She's at conflict here over her past and her feelings towards her father, and even her feelings towards her sister and what she did when she realizes it. So there's a lot there. There's a lot of depth to these characters and to the background and probably underlying reasons as to why she went back to this house, because maybe she knew she didn't have she had unfinished business there.
Right. She wanted to know that it was dead because she said it's not dead. So she really believes that her father was possessed by this fucking thing, this horse thing. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. So maybe she did have unfinished business, wanted to go there and make sure, okay, because Dad's dead, maybe that means the demon is dead. Maybe Dad was the demon all along. Well, it turns out, guess what? The demon exists before Dad and after Dad and possessed him. See,
dude, that's interesting. I didn't even think of that. That's a really good point. I didn't even. Yeah. I agree there is a demon, but I didn't even think that the demon. I thought Dad just personified the demon and became the demon.
Yeah.
Not even thinking that the demon might have existed in that house, and we might be dealing with just a haunted house story.
No, it's a demon.
Now, what if the name maybe it should have been called Horsecock? The movie. I think that would have pulled a lot more people in.
Horsecock of the walk. Lovely horsecock. Lovely.
Horsecock of the walk. Nice.
There's our sixth movie.
Wow, that's interesting. So if
it's a demon.
So the demon's there before, and the demon possesses Dad and causes him to do the things he's interesting. Jesus, there's depth. There's more depth.
And she's being haunted because remember she opens the closet door and it's a little girl crying. You know what I mean? So she's being haunted by that child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's the one crying in the closet. But yeah, she wanted to kill it. And she said, they're not letting me kill, she says at the beginning. So it's there. And she tells him it's not dead.
So when she's reaching her hand in, it's almost like she's reaching into the childhood part of herself to like embrace it and confront it. And is that why Hannah's doing it at the end? Like reaching into the child version of herself, and now she's going to have to deal with her own haunting? Lovely Hannah?
Well, Lovely Hannah, the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
And does she say it's not dead or he's not dead?
She says both. I know for a fact she says it's not dead when I'm pretty sure it's. Remember when he comes home and she's naked sitting down on the bed, and then she just turns, she says it's not dead?
Yeah, I believe both are said throughout this also.
I think so too. And in the beginning she says it wasn't me. They won't let me do it. Plural. They. I don't know. You know what I mean? So a couple things here. So I think that's what it is. I think that it's this thing, and maybe that's why she went back. Maybe she got sober, she got happy, she got married, everything's cool. You know what I mean? I've inherited the house. It's dead. We don't know what happened. If it was suicide, it's implied that it was something, and they don't like to talk about it, and that it was an instant thing. Well, but the cops don't know that when they get there, and she doesn't know that either.
Oh yeah.
She finds out later. So, see, that's the weird part. Well, either way, I don't know. See, that's something else to dig into. How on record did he die?
Who?
The
father?
Because the father just died like a month or two ago, they said. Didn't they just say it was like just a recent thing, and that's why she's at the house?
No,
because the mother died first, and then the father died recently, and that's why she got the house.
The father didn't die recently.
No, then the mother died recently.
The mother died recently.
Okay, because the cop insinuates, he goes, "I was here when your father was killed, and I was here." And okay,
the father died the father died when they were little. The mother just recently died.
That makes sense. Okay, because otherwise it wouldn't have. Right, I was getting. Okay, all right. So that's what it is. So she avoided the house, and they do allude to their mother going through some type of stuff. They do say a couple things about it that it's. Again, I have to watch it a fucking third time now. I really do. I think there's more to be taken out of it.
Yeah, she warns the sister, that not to bring Peter around, the son, her nephew, Molly's nephew, that the father will hurt Peter. She even, at one point, she says, gut him from belly to the throat like a fucking fish.
Yes.
Like, Jesus.
Oh, wow. Dude, she was great. It was a great performance.
It was.
Yeah. The more I think about it and everything that happened with her at work and how happy she was at the beginning and everything, and they had the happy birthday surprise, so she was respected at work. She had good friends. She liked her boss. Had a great relationship. Then all of a sudden, takes a hit of weed.
Ron, and she put that on Ron.
See, but that's heartbreaking when that happens. When you have a good workflow and she's working with her sister even, and they're doing that thing, and then all of a sudden. The guy's like, I can't have you here like this. Remember, she comes the first time. She goes, she looks like shit. It's like, well, I can work in the back of the house today, and she does, and it's like, you see the spiral. Oh man. Yeah. Good stuff. I'm gonna watch this again in the near future. There's more to pull out of this there's still more here that I want to get at.
Agreed.
So there you go. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna give you my rating. I'm gonna give you my. It's just making it, but it. For me, it's just enough. It's a full head explosion for me. I mean, it might go up.
Now, full head is 8.5, right?
Yeah.
Or above. I am just below it, but teetering. So I'm a super high half head. Christian's
super
fault.
High half head.
Super Christian. It's Christian's fault that we can't say our numbers anymore. I just want to be like, it's an 8.25, and Christian's like, no, we can't.
Nope.
It's a super high.
I'm editing that part out, actually.
No numbers.
I don't want any reference to that number.
What about 6.75? Can I say that? Because I invented it.
As a joke.
How about 8 out of 5? Can I say that?
You're allowed to.
Okay. 8 out of 5.
Just not both on the same show.
How about 10?
So from now on, if a movie to me is 8.5, I'm going to be sly and say 8 out of 5. Yeah. 8 out of 5 for lovely Molly.
I was at a mild rumble, but as we were chatting, like I said, I'll come up to a half head.
Wow, same thing that happened with me and you in hardware.
There you go.
See?
I said I never do it.
See, you're learning. See? Yeah. I'm rubbing off on you.
But there was good stuff here. CeCe
Peniston? CeCe DeVille?
CeCe Sabathia?
God, I want out. How do I get out?
Pull the cord.
Yeah.
So we have a half head, a high half head, and an 8 out of 5 full head. Okay.
I'd like to nominate it for the half Hall of Fame.
Oh my Lord.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. I'm gonna be watching this movie again. That much I know. Which brings us to one more movie. And hey, I want to do it. I got a really cool one too. Oh, damn it. I might do
big.
it. Huh?
Mine's big.
Mine's big too. So what's your point? Anyway.
It'd be really funny if you were wearing like a ski jacket right now, just because it looks cold.
Devil's Pass from Ty B.
Where? My tooth just fell out of its own. Yeah, Devil's Pass is 2013, directed by Rennie Harlan.
Yeah, Nightmare 4.
Yeah. This reminds me of Nightmare 4. All right, I'll just read the description. A group of students go to the location of the infamous Dyatlov Pass incident to make a documentary, but things take a turn for the worse as the secret of what happened there is revealed. Actually, the secret of what happened there is not revealed.
Well, or is it?
It's not, because they even say at the end of this movie, they still don't know what happened to the 9 hikers, plus the fact that that's a true story, that's real. That part of the movie is real. They're not going to, I guess, disrespect the families by making up some sort of ending for them.
I think it is revealed, though. I think we're led to believe they find out what happened.
Yeah, I mean, sort of, but you still don't know what happened. Why didn't they run? Why didn't they move on? But the main focus is the 5, and the Dyatlov Pass of February 1959 is a true event where 9 hikers disappeared. And I like the fact of slipping in a fictional story into nonfiction. It's a very Quentino type of movie.
What?
I have no idea.
Quintino? What is that? A microwave pizza? New Quintino's Pizza Pockets.
I was like, who the fuck you talking about, boy?
I decided to combine names, and instead of Quentin Tarantino, I went with Quentino.
It's definitely microwave pizza. I'm telling you.
Holy shit.
Quintino's. I'm telling you, pizza bites.
I don't know, guys. I know. Dave, was this on your list initially? I know I watched it.
This was on my challenge list. This was on a list, and that's how it got selected by Tyler, because it's on my list. It's something that I think people should see.
And I gave it a 6 at the time.
Ooh, wow.
Me too.
Ooh,
a 6 out of 10 at the time. It's well produced. It's slick. The acting's okay. But it just doesn't do it for me, this movie. I find the characters really annoying at the beginning. And
they're very generic. I don't hate them, but they're very generic. And
I borderline hate them, actually. Because
really?
if I was at that bar when they go into that bar and the way that they're acting, I'd be like, could you be any more American? Like, honestly, it was pissing me off. Because that's exactly the stereotype. Like, oh, they're those loud Americans again.
Wait, was there a unicorn in this movie?
What?
No.
Look at Dave's background.
Like them?
Oh my God, what the fuck is that?
Is that an album?
I wish I could show you the full picture. Maybe I can. Hold on, look at. This is actually the picture that I took it from, but it came up with just that. But look how badass is this?
That's great. Can't see a fucking thing. You disappeared. Your phone disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep all this up.
Send it to me and I'll superimpose it in.
Okay. Oh, it's badass, man. I'm gonna send it.
Is that a music cover? A music album cover or something?
It's some other movie, I think.
Oh, really? Oh, we should have reviewed that one.
This does. I'm telling you, man. I know. I agree. This does everything that you don't want in found footage, where they pop the camera down to record a casual conversation and whatever, and Like, why? By the campfire, I'm just going to pop the camera here so that it can film both of us having a conversation.
I have no problem with that because they're
documentary.
Everything.
Yes.
So this is a documentary. They need everything.
Personal conversation.
It's a student. No, you don't understand, though. It's a student film. They're doing their thing. It's a from a documentary from a student. And they're in a place that nobody's been to except for people that have gone missing. Think about that. No one goes there. How could you not document everything?
I actually just found that this movie dragged a little bit, even though I found certain aspects of it intriguing. There's a weird jump to the 5 students disappearing at the very beginning of the film, which I wasn't expecting. I expected it to just build to the end, but all of a sudden they're doing the news story of them. And then, of course, they do the...
Oh, wasn't it done well? Didn't you like that stuff?
It was okay. They needed a way to get this footage released, so they came up with this conspiracy leaks and stuff like that,
That's
which
cool.
is fine. It's fine. Yeah, I have no issue with it. And, they hacked it, and this is the footage, and then
when it turns into a horror movie, it's just loud noises.
No, I don't know. I think it's creepy. I think dude, this is what it is. This is the biggest thing for me about this movie. And maybe it's a very basic, stupid thing, a throwaway line maybe to some people. But the fact that both of them saw this as their outcome fucking has always creeped me out. Because that's the type of shit that gets to me. Like somebody having a dream.
Yeah.
Their existence was going to take them to this, and it's haunted them in nightmares and shit. And then it actually happens. That creeps me the fuck out. It gets under my skin.
That was a cool aspect. She talked about dreaming about it, and he talked about having a bad acid trip and experiencing the audio sounds that he was hearing once they arrived at the place.
And I always think that that's a cop-out in these
No,
movies.
I actually liked it
considering
it's part of their fate, because it's it's basically one big time loop, so they can't escape it, which is cool. That aspect of it is cool, because when you learn at the end what everything is that's going on, they can't escape it. I have a question. It's been a couple days since we watched this. The guy who sends them a message out the window to stay away, that Peter guy, that Peter Kovov that they go to see, who was he? Who did they say he was? I just can't remember.
I forgot.
Okay, it doesn't matter, because that's where they
somebody involved with the deal.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Somehow in the last minute or the last day, something happened and he ended up not taking the trip.
That's right. He had to go back down the mountain before they got there.
He was supposed to be on the trip.
Yes. No, he was there, but he had to go back down. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So fate intervened for him too. He got lucky, but he knew enough to stay away. And he told them to stay away.
Yeah, and he warned them to stay away, and that's when they meet Serge, who agrees to take them, and then they meet the aunt, which is really cool, because you're like, what the hell's going on? They meet this random guy talking to the aunt, but the way it plays out at the end, it's like, that's actually really cool stuff.
10 bodies.
11 bodies.
11. I know what I saw. Right.
Yeah, 11 bodies, and then you see it at the end. You see her come over the hill and see the 2 extra bodies, and then they yell at her to go away.
See, that's what screws me up, and that's what but it's always my problem with time travel. It's why I don't like Insidious 2 whatsoever, because it's that type of movie. And it's one little thing at the end of this movie, and it's okay. And they do it like one time in Back to the Future 2, where I'm like, okay, wait a minute. If you apply logic to this time travel, how does that happen? That's my only issue, and
I try not to. I tried to actually rationalize it and think about it, and it gave me a headache. And I was just like, don't overthink this, because time travel,
But that's what I'm saying. I don't give time travel a free pass.
It doesn't. It doesn't get a free pass, but I think it's okay here.
It's not because it's so inconsequential and cool and just one little thing. That's fine. But when your whole movie, that's what I'm saying. Insidious 2, the whole movie's based around it, and it doesn't make sense. And that's what I try to convey to people when I discuss that movie, and I tell them, why don't you like it? And that's what I say. For this to be this doesn't make any sense. And when you try to explain it to people, but we're not doing Insidious 2 today. That's for another day. And if somebody wants to challenge me, I've been waiting for years to review Insidious 2. Somebody pick that freaking trilogy or quadrilogy, whatever. I'll tear that shit apart because it doesn't make sense. But anyway, this movie here, okay, it's not as strong as The Bay. I'm not saying it is, but there are elements about it that I like. I think it's one of the better examples of a found footage mockumentary type movie with somebody making a documentary and going somewhere and ending up missing. I like the story elements. I like the footprints in the snow and everything else. I like them arguing and them thinking that she did it and what's going on here and them having to hide things from each other, especially at the end with the door. And how about when that avalanche hits? That's done so well. You guys didn't like it?
The avalanche is cool. The multiple theories about aliens, military, this and that. I love that. I love when they're speculating about all these different things. I liked the reports of the orange lights and the revelation of what the orange lights are.
It's cool.
I do. There are some really cool things here. I just felt like it could have been like 15, 20 minutes shorter. I felt like in the first 2/3 it just.
How long is this? Is this one of those hour 40 minute?
Yeah, it's like an hour and 40. I just felt like it could have been like an hour and 20, an hour and 20.
I agree with you.
That's all. But it's not a bad movie. I'm actually gonna be coming up on this one from my original rating because the good things definitely outweigh the bad, but it's not like a,
No, again, movies that are on my found footage list, I'm not saying that they're all fucking full head explosions or anything like this, but there's a lot of movies out there that are similar to this that are done incompetently. This to me is a good example of this style of movie. It's just like having a slasher list, and this is one of those slashers, but except if it's the top 50 found footage. That's all. I'm not saying it's the highest, but I think it's a good movie, and this shit creeps me out, man.
Yeah, no, it is creepy. And the things I would trim, given the fact that these characters, they're okay. They're not great. I would trim a lot of stuff at the beginning where you're learning the background. I would trim the trail hook, the trail hookup. I mean, it's just like
it's realistic.
I know it's realistic.
That's filler. And you hate the characters.
I don't hate the characters, I guess. I don't know.
I don't like them.
I didn't need to know that JP's, just a rich boy, a trust fund kid whose father, is a big alumni of the school and named the wing after them, and then he's going off to philosophy class. Like, I just get into the story of it, the heart of the story, which is documentary filmmakers and hikers, leading the expedition, and that's fine.
But I think maybe that's hold on now. Maybe that's what they're trying to say with the movie, that these are Americans. They think their shit don't stink, and they can go to Russia and try to do this stuff that these people did so long ago. Well, let's go out there and document these people. Yes, and that girl is very good. There's nothing wrong with the lead girl. She was very passionate about what she was doing, and you could tell that she cared about what happened here. I
liked Holly.
Yes, I did like her.
Holly was the best of them all, and I did like Dr. Kittles.
Dr. Kittles.
Like the one she got permission to do these things.
Yeah,
isn't that a fun? Don't you think that's a good cat name, Dr. Kittles?
Yeah, Dr. Kittles. Yeah.
When I heard that name, I had to write it down. I'm like, I don't know why. This is just funny. I just feel
it's a good name. Like El Nino. El Nino is a good name for a cat. But, yeah. But you see what I'm saying, Christian? The fucking. Don't you think maybe that's what they were trying to say here? That these cocky Americans think they're gonna go here and do this because they think they can do other stuff, and they're students. You know what I mean? And some of them are a little fucking hoity-toity, and they're gonna go there and look what the fuck happens. Mind your own fucking business is the answer to this movie. Look at it from that perspective. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, I guess that could work. I just talk about like their attitude is like, just assholey. Like they walk into that pub and they own the joint and whatever. I'm just like, they just rub me the wrong way.
Vodka.
Okay, now wait a minute. Kind of like the guy in Midsommar, like the one guy. What's his name? I should know by now. I've only seen the movie fucking 10 times.
I believe it's Mid. Or is it Somar?
Yeah.
But the funny part of it is, even in that movie, he doesn't annoy me at all. Something about the way he does it, because he's because I guess he's a good actor. He's able to project like the.
There's much more there. I know.
Yeah, there's something about that's different than this. This one looks like frat boys going into and like, okay, line up the drinks. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's get going here. Like, okay.
They did that, really?
Stranger in a strange land.
Yeah, they were like that. You know what I wish they had done? They could have done the hike up. They could have made it a little bit more of a struggle. I know. I love
Instead
the
of
fact.
going, hey, it's right there.
I love the fact that they get
Well, it's
there
an hour
like.
and 40 minutes. I mean,
But I love the fact that they get there in an amount of time that's not possible, and that's when shit starts to get trippy.
Oh, and the compasses and all that shit. I love that stuff.
And the guys even say
Yeah.
there's no way we should be here by now. This just isn't right.
And the
Like
radiation.
That's cool. But
cool.
but even with that, it just seemed like the photos, the real life photos they use at the beginning of these hikers, in '59, these accomplished hikers are or climbers are like haunting and horrifying, and it looks like brutal condition, and then it just looks like they're walking up in just like cold weather. They show them training at like a ski lodge for like one day. But it's nitpicky. Yeah. It's nitpicky, but for some reason it bothered me because I see like a better film, a better overall film. Even the look of the creatures, we'll call them, even though they're not creatures, they just turn into that when they pass through the portal. Of the look of the monsters, I thought was very video game-ish.
Really? Oh man, I love. This is what I'll say. I like to build up. It's all well and good and everything. I have no problem with the characters. I understand where Christian's coming from. It didn't happen to me, but sometimes I watch movies and it does happen to me. It's not here, so I can't slight a guy because he didn't like the characters. I didn't think that they were assholes that way, but so be it. We saw it differently. But what I will say is the third act. Once they get inside, where they get inside, I think that stuff is great. I think everything with the Philadelphia experiment and
the Eldridge, the ship with
all that shit.
With the guys fused to the ship, the bulkhead.
I liked it all.
That was creepy and cool. I just did not like the look of the creatures. I just thought it looked like a first person shooter game.
Interesting.
Yeah. I like the look of the bunker and everything in the halls and the look of the portal. That's all fine. Just the creatures. And it doesn't really affect it for me. It could have been even better.
Interesting. What about those crazy looking skeletons?
Remember that was cool.
Yeah, dude, cool. That was cool.
Very, very thing-like. They looked like they were like melded together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that stuff. Man, shit, I don't know.
No, there is good. There's a lot of good. I like, they find
How about the tongue?
The tongue, they realized belonged to one of the soldiers.
Just the fact they found that tongue in that fucking thing, that's scary shit.
It is. It's very creepy. The book at the end, they see that this was, being worked on during World War II, all the way up to they find records all the way up to the late 50s, which would coincide with the disappearance of the 9 hikers. So I mean, they do give detail to some questions that people will have, but there still is some filler where they could have done better things with it.
I'll give you that, because usually these movies are like $1.20.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
This movie didn't earn that extra 20 minutes. It really, in this case, it didn't.
No, it's funny. It's like JP says, you get the first 90 minutes for free.
Yeah, and then you got to earn the minutes.
After that, you got to earn it.
And I'm okay with that. But in found footage, especially this type of found footage, you know what I mean? It's if you're gonna have a running length like that, because a lot of the greats are not that long. Take a look at the greatest found footage movies, and they're usually under 90 minutes. Some of them are like I said, $1.20, and they, So I think maybe the padding that's a complaint I could understand, but I don't notice it, and I'm kind of there with them, kind of like with. And I'm not comparing it. I don't want to bring it up again, but like in Midsommar, how you're there in that place. Mm-hmm. I feel the cold in a matter. I feel like that. I think it's done well, being out there in the cold in that mountain, and being put into that situation. Again, that's me. I'm a sucker for found footage. When I watch these movies, I feel like, I'm the protagonist, and
that's why
I'm in the cold with them.
That's why I wish that there had been more of a hike build up and more of a struggle, because it seems from the moment they arrive at the Dyatlov Pass that they're like a stone's throw away from civilization. That's where I don't feel like, they're really in danger, even though they are, but the avalanche and all that and everything that plays out from there.
Wow.
And then the military guys showing up, shooting Andy in the head, which he deserved. That's all really cool stuff. But then my only complaint in that last act is the look of the creatures. But I do like that they teleport.
So how did they turn into the creature?
When you pass through the portal.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, you pass through the portal and you come back a monster, because when they pass through the portal, another little nitpick, like, okay, they like we gotta have a fresh memory in our head that like let's just wish ourselves back to right outside the bunker where the guys are. Like, why wouldn't you wish yourself back into your bedroom?
That's what I was gonna ask you guys. I wouldn't have thought that. My memory, I'd have wished myself back into 1980s as a kid.
You'd be like, take me to the Friday the 13th premiere.
Whatever. Take me to the 1980s at my parents' house, being fucking 12 years old.
Dude, that makes more sense than wishing
thought.
yourself back into the same dangerous situation you just literally are hiding from.
Yeah. But that leads. Then you don't have.
It leads to the cool reveal, where the aunt shows up.
And she does say it. In a matter of speaking, that does make sense. It's the freshest thing in our memory, and we're not going to wish ourselves back in here. So maybe it'll work if we think about it, because it's right outside the door. We were just there, so we're going to have vivid memory. You know what I mean?
And it makes sense because of the fact that you have to have the clear picture, because if not, you'll wind up. What is it like in the pictures where they were like attached to the bulkheads and stuff like that, where they were like morphed with things, fused, where they're like fused with things. So if they wish themselves back to a certain spot and they don't remember it correctly, all of a sudden they're attached at the ass.
Ooh, imagine that. Imagine being in the cold out there like that, fucking freezing, and like against the outside of their door. Oh man,
that would have been a cool ending. That would.
Yes, it would have.
If they ended up just frozen and fused to the outside of the door. Wow, now you're actually hurting the film for me by saying that. I actually really like that. That would have been cool.
That would have been
if the aunt had talked about seeing two other bodies, but it was like, if she had mentioned like it was inhuman, it was like nothing I'd ever seen.
Right, and I talked myself out of it. I didn't even know if I could have seen that. Maybe I was just letting my imagination run away with me.
Yeah,
that's what she should.
Oh my God, that would have been better.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's it. Christian's off the show. Look at him.
What's the matter, Steve?
He's fine. Oh, nothing.
Can you pretend to climb up the mountain?
Again?
No, you gotta actually go up. Turn around and go.
I'll be like that guy in Price is Right.
Oh, yeah, right. Cliffhanger. I love the cliffhanger.
That's why I'm here. Fuck the movie.
Lady.
I'll do this one. Ricola.
Nice. But I'll tell you this. The Dyatlov Pass incident, that is some shit. I'm glad that I saw this movie because it opened me up to that whole story.
Yeah.
The real story, we can't get into it now. That's not what we're here for. But wow, look at some YouTube videos and stuff. It is really a pretty crazy incident. Not to steal the word, but
no. And if you're gonna make this movie an hour and 40 minutes, take out some of the filler and talk more about the actual details of the Dyatlov Pass that they had.
They talked about it. She went through every body and said, this one was here. This is what happened. That stuff was good. That's what I'm saying. That's what I liked about it. She went through every body that was out there.
Everybody, freeze your body. These jokes only.
And I really, again, I feel like I shut down, but the reality is that there are some good moments to this. There is some good stuff. It's just I felt it pretty generic. Where Dave, you're feeling like this is elevated found footage. To me, it fell into the generic realm a little bit more so. Again, I don't know why I feel one way, you do another. That's what makes the show work. But that's it. Like, especially found footage, because really, you've got the mockumentary style, which I guess this falls into. I feel like it was a little forced when they weren't shooting the documentary stuff and they're just keeping the cameras running, like I mentioned earlier. But I don't know. I kind of like the ones where they just hold the camera, and I've just gotten used to that now. That okay, we're going to record for the whole thing now. Where it's not a documentary. It's just like amateurs running around with the cameras.
You know what? I'll give you that. It's kind of a cheap way to have character development in your film. And that's what they're doing. When they're sitting there just setting the camera down and they're having a discussion, that's just character development, and that's when you're going to get it. So I guess it's kind of a cheap way to do it. That's fair. But I guess you could have done that and had no character development, Maybe you'd like it more. Maybe it's more on the go, and less of that shit. I don't know.
It's such a hard.
You sacrifice your
It's a hard
characters.
juggle because we
Yeah.
say in found footage, one of the arguments in found footage is that there's no character development. That typically you're at the mercy of amateur footage and you're thrown into the situation.
Right.
So here I am shitting on the fact that they were forcing character development.
Yeah, see, there you go. You sacrifice one thing or the other. See, did I get it? Did I stroke the? Did I stroke
stroking the horn? The horn.
Yeah, I did get it. I thought I had it. See?
Oh.
Did you ever think about it that a unicorn should actually be a unihorn?
Yes, I've said that all my life. Yes.
Right? It's not a corn.
No, it's stupid. It's a unihorn is much better.
Unicorn.
I've always said this, B. Always. Yes.
They should
Unicorn.
make a creature with a corn on the cob sticking out of its head. Then it's a unicorn.
Yes.
Or if they change the color of the horn and make it look like a candy corn.
Wow, I'm surprised no one has done that.
Yeah.
A candy
Ratings.
unicorn?
A candy corn unicorn. A candy
Jeremy.
corn unicorn.
Okay, half head explosion. There you go.
All right, and like I said, I even said the first time I saw this, I rated it a 6 out of 10. I've come up a little bit. I'm not quite at the half head, but again, just below it. I'm probably 6.75, so it's a high rumble. Sorry, Christian. You could edit out that.
High rumble.
It's a high rumble.
I'm joking about the number.
Dave invented that number, so I get to say it.
And I'm a mild rumble as well.
Okay.
I feel like you're a low rumble.
Well, maybe next show will all come high.
I'm looking forward to the next show because it's one movie I've loved since I've first seen it, and I've seen it probably like 3 times now. One movie I liked the first time, loved the second time, and one movie I've only seen once that I was lukewarm on, but looking forward to revisiting.
I gotta tell you, I hope everybody. I like both movies. I like 2 movies. I fucking love one. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully next episode of the show that we all come in high on all 3 movies. And there's no.
I'm making a new rule that we don't cover anything that was done on the Watsy party.
Dude, how many times has this happened to you?
I know it's not planned, but I know.
I feel bad for you. It feels like you're doing it every week.
Luckily, it's movies that I love, so it's okay.
Okay.
I'm just going to listen to that review and then steal everything that Mr. Watson says, and I'm just going to say it like it's mine.
Okay. Do it. In case you didn't notice, on that episode of Watsy, when we talked about Poughkeepsie tapes, there was no after party. You know why? Because I'm saving it for this show. There's more stuff I wanted to deep dive into, and I'm smart that way. I said, you know what? I think we got the point across here. Let's walk away from this episode because there's more that I want to dig into with it, and it wasn't necessary for that show, but we're going to do it here. See?
Does that mean Watson's going to show up for our after party?
Well, and for clarity, Brendan and I didn't know that because we don't listen to that show.
That's okay. It's okay. Even though I listen to every show you guys do.
I know you do, and I dragged Brandon into my bad joke. I'm sorry, Brandon.
Okay.
Even your sorry-ass fucking trivia.
Hey, you might be hosting that with me.
You support everybody. Not everybody's like you.
I do support everybody.
You support everybody.
I support everybody, but not necessarily by listening.
I've openly been a jerk. I've said listen. I barely listen to any of you guys.
And I'm the heel. And I'm the fucking heel. How come people heel me out?
I don't even know what.
B,
I don't
we
even
got
know what
ignorant C and fucking me.
Yeah, I don't even know what a veal lamoy is.
Okay, that was me. I did hammer home the veal. Home the veal. That's funny.
That's the tastiest veal, the one that's hammered home.
Woo, man.
Oh man.
So anyway, let's tell everybody for homework. This is what we're doing next show: a double feature from Chris, aka Scott, a clown double feature. Eli, did I almost say that? Clown, not directed by Eli Roth. Clown, John Watts Clown, Terrifier, and the Poughkeepsie tapes.
Poughkeepsie.
That's next show.
Poughkeepsie.
Yeah. So
I think that's going to be a good show.
I think so. I think this was a good show too. This was a lot of fun. Hopefully everything worked out with all our technical difficulties. Otherwise,
it's been we apologize for the technical